made it in, y'all. That's why I do this twice. Hey, y'all, it's me. Hey, it's me, Dr. Chef. How are you all? Happy Wellness Wednesday. I just got Facebook in here. So I'm happy that I was able to tune in. Yes, this is a more better day. Wednesday. I know y'all call it hump day. I call it Wellness Wednesday. And I have been for a while now. It just so happened that I was able to make a segment out of it. And so I'm happy that I was able to do so. Yes, I am in a far more feeling very, very much more rested and well this Wellness Wednesday than from my last session. So I'm just thankful that I was able to have the mind and tune in at 1. Yes, you all, I'm thinking about going in for the 1 o'clock. So anyone that's able to tune in and see that I'm here, hey there, your mama's good to see you, bro. I pray that the family is doing well. Shalom, shalom. So I'm just glad that I was able to tune in. Yes, around my 1 o'clock, you all let me know. I don't mind if 1 o'clock is better than noon because it seems like the 1 o'clock is where I'm going, and I'm thinking that it's because of the season and the weather. That's just when I'm you know finally getting through the morning shift time and taking care of other consultations and things of that nature. So I do still have to work. This is not just a day that I set aside for tuning in to you all on the live stream. So if you wonder sometimes why am I a little bit off, it is because, as you all can imagine, I put my passion into my health coaching and taking care of other business because I am the only one that could do that as of right now. I do have somewhat of an assistant, but not a full time one. So that means that I'm doing everything mostly myself. And so, again, also thank you for those who have sent in donations. No, we have not met our goal of the foundation so that I could start putting together health and wellness packages for families in need for the month. And that would entail whatever it is that they need. And so just keep in mind that if you all want to do that and want to give the seasonal gifts for the new year or for this month to family or friends or someone, I don't mind calling out your organization and your name. So what that looks like is that if you want to send in $25, $50, $100, then you can do that. I did not put that into the chat this time. However, it's something that's been on my mind that if you all want to be a blessing and a gift to someone else, then I could do so. And I can send through this thank you letters and things of that nature. Then that would be great because we do. We have so many that have gone through so much since the pandemic. Is still having a major effect on a lot of families. We are blessed for for those of us who have not had to experience losing your home due to sickness or losing your home due to just the lack of knowledge or because of your company may have shut down and you're barely getting by. I do want to be able to participate and being able to help families with some of the basic things that they need to keep their health together. Because as you know, we cannot work and do the job that we have been placed here to do if you're sick. So I do. I have products that can help families at least until they get on their feet. However, I'm not a millionaire yet, so I don't have enough of my own to constantly give away all products because they cost me and they do cost a lot because of the potency and how good and how doable, how healthy, how pure my products are. And so, and I wasn't willing to settle for anything less than that. And because we don't know how long that we'll be able to do that, you all, the laws are changing every day. So we want to make sure that we take advantage of all the good that we can and do all the good that you can. I know I see you glitching, you guys. Please come over. Hey, Virginie. Good to see you. Um, I got a free YouTube channel just in case, because I see Facebook glitch just a little bit. But I do. I got a free YouTube channel at Dr. Chef. Dr. Chef Felicia Ann Wellness Channel. And if you go in, like and subscribe, that helps boost so that I can eventually get to a point to where whatever, if I get to a point to where I do get the thousands prescribers, then what I would do is I'll take and use those products to go towards them, those fundings to go towards funding the products. And what I just mentioned to you all, I'll be able to take and use some things to be able to give away. And so that is my heart desire. I believe that it's going to happen. That's just one avenue, one avenue. So you all keep me in prayers for that, because I do have some partnerships and different ones that I've been talking to now, and they're going to try to kick in and be even more so of a help. Like one of my clients just stated, they said to me yesterday evening, they said, "You have not because you ask not." And it's okay. I'm okay with that. I just don't believe in begging. I'm like, it's no need. Not when it's coming down to something that's really good or positive, and when it comes from someone that is a giver, like moi. And so, no, I don't never feel the need to do that. And then, as they say, if you're going to pray about something, you ask about something, why stress about it? Don't stress about it. Even though, yes, I did. I got discouraged, but I had to remember what season, the time this is, just because I don't go all out anymore like a lot of us do during this time, which I never did. I always use this time for winter shopping and to get prepped for the next year. This is what I use it for. About the most we spent money on was the food, to make sure that we had enough food for all the family members and the family that was going to come, and friends that was going to come to feast, to fellowship. That was the most that I ever spent funds on during this season. Everything else was making sure that my children had coats that they could fit, the right size coats. And yes, they would get maybe like one toy, but it would, I never got caught up in it. And honestly, you want to know why? Because I had them all, and they had aunties, and they had uncles that would, and grandparents that would always make sure that they had everything that they needed. So I got out of that part, and I was thankful, because I was like, the bills are still rolling, and there's still more important things that our families need during this season, during this time. And so I think it's still the same. It's still the same. And shout out to all of the churches and different organizations, different people that are giving away things during this season, because I don't know whether it's just a charity write off or just because, but mostly, preferably, it's from the heart, because you know that you have a lot and you can afford to give away some things. And I just, like I said I was going to be giving away things before this season, or this so-called Christmas time came around. And no, I won't be celebrating it. However, I will be around people, just like I was the other night. My apologies. I do want to go in first before I get started into the sessions. Apologize to anyone that got offended by our karaoke night that I posted. But however, I got to move on forward from that. I can't get caught up in stuff like that anymore. That was a charity event. I just didn't get a chance to label it for those who have been on my Facebook page, at Felicia Ann Jordan. Underneath, you'll see Dr.Chef and a picture of mine. I know there may have been a few that was extra spiritual that may have got a little offended that some of the music was secular, old time music, secular, that was being karaoke then. However, that was part of the organization that I was part of, and I was obligated to be there because it was a fundraiser to help the community during this season and during this time. So yes, I do participate in things like that. And yes, I do play my congos. I will sing. I will. I did me a nice spiritual song, Heaven, through BB and CC Whining. A few of them did other church songs, but no, some of it was. It was the good old fashioned songs, and I'm not going to apologize for it if it offended anybody that only sing gospel. So that's a thank you all for those of y'all that did enjoy and that did comment. I did have a really nice time. However, this is also still the season where I have been really truly missing my family, and particularly my mother and my daughter. And I needed to make sure that I kept myself in good spirits for those around me, because I know that 'tis a season where so many have lost loved ones and so many have lost jobs. And so many are still sick, you all. So we have to learn. One thing I've learned is that we have to learn how to enjoy the moments that God give us. We have to learn how to be thankful and not to overly analyze everything to the point to where, as they say, you so spiritual till you're no earthly good. Come on now. Come on, y'all. Come on. All right now. Hey, it's good to see all y'all tuned in. Sister Diane, Sandra, Sam. Okay, I see everybody. You can sing in sign language, and some people will still be offended. Because your mama. You come from where I come from, don't you, Joe? Look, don't you, Joe? I say, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm past that stage of life to where I'm caught up in that. You know, y'all, like I said, y'all know, I told you how I was raised. Hey there, Dr. Sister Dorothy Green. I was watching Monday Motivational Live and I got the notification for this live. But thankful to be able to catch it from the beginning. Peace and much love. Yes, I'm so glad you were too. Yes, but keep in mind, Facebook doesn't necessarily give me. I got better connection here to for YouTube, just for the record. Um, the Dr. Chef Felicia and Wellness Channel. You so if it started glitching, make sure you transfer over. You all subscribe, please, and like. That helps. Like I say, that does help to build the channel. No, I'm not going to allow myself to get all bent out of shape and all feel all that pressure that I know there's so many that have because they want to make a living off this. Mm-mm. They're not going to trap house me mentally and emotionally like that. But I will share it and say that yes, that is the way. They will send a monthly payment if I'm able to build the channel up to so many people. I think it's like 1,000. Then they send a monthly check, and then that helps to put towards more health products and foundations and things of that nature. And I got much confidence that as time go by, if I don't get fed up with dealing with uh, the social media, or if they don't change anything, then I will continue to do this. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it like that because I'm not. I'm one that I don't really get addicted to anything but love. I don't know about y'all. I'm only addicted to love and caring for people. And there has to be a balance with that. You have to ask God to give you wisdom to know how to know who to do that for, because sometimes that can backfire on you. And I have been in this long enough to see that even that can backfire on you because if a person don't love and care for themselves enough to take care of themselves, and you're constantly trying to care for them, that sometimes turn into resentment. And so that's something that I feel led to share with you all on this Wellness Wednesday. If you're experiencing that at all, where you notice that just because you love and you care for a family member, a spouse, or mate, or children, and you notice they're starting to act funny with you, or grandparents, whoever, friend, and you notice that they're not in a good, healthy place, and just because you mentioned, well, maybe you should consider juicing today, or maybe I know this good product that Dr. Chef have. You sure you want? And you notice they started getting kind of like eerie with you. Look. I'm speaking from experience, you all. That's all you gotta do is talk about it. Well, just because it worked for somebody else, don't necessarily mean it's gonna work for me. Oh, trust me, I know all the things. Or all of a sudden you getting a salad treatment, or all of a sudden now they don't want to go out to eat with you. Whatever it is that y'all do together, now all of a sudden now you feel the cold shoulder. All right, just all these different sarcastic things has been said, and here it is. All you're trying to do is be a help. Hey there, Sister Jamaica. Um, all you're really trying to do is be a help. Well, just understand that a lot of times there's people being frustrated with themselves, and we all have been there. I know I have been, but never have I ever felt like I needed to be mean or that a person didn't care about me if I wasn't feeling well. In the past, years ago, when I used to suffer from horrible cramps, better to get a cold shoulder than to smell a hot breath. That's a good way. Oh man, come on now. you coming out the box early, Joe. You coming out the box early on us. I was stopping. Y'all, he from my hometown. We don't cut no corners, but I'm trying. I'm trying. You're not helping me, Joe, here at all. You're not helping me out. Now you know I got a sense of humor. Everybody know I got a sense of humor, and I appreciate it because it does lift the spirit. Y'all know my famous saying. One of them is that laughter is good for the heart. And it really, really is because my heart most definitely, I told y'all, I'm going to keep it 1,000. My heart was very heavy from last month all the way up until now. And it was just by the grace of God that I was able to constantly come before, even in the midst of the glitching and everything being all in disarray because I was dealing with other personal things too, like some of you all have been. I am not exempt, and I'm just putting two and two together. And before I had to catch myself, and this is the reason why we say, you have to ask God for wisdom with who you're trying to care for. And when I realized that the person is not really caring for themselves the way they are seeming to care for others or trying to make it seem like they're caring, I'm caring for others, I realized that the same resentment was going to still come up again. And I had to. At that time, I just heard the voice said, now it's time for you to take care of yourself. Now it's time for you to take care of yourself. This person have in their mind how they want to do their own thing. They know it's not going to work. And their determination and drive is just not there now. And you jumping back on the bandwagon of trying to care for them and show them your love language is only going to stress you out. And I don't care who's not addressing you all on this Wellness Wednesday. I don't care who's not addressing um, the fact that stress is one of the number one killers. It is because it starts in the mind. And anytime the mind is not able to have the cells to operate in the manner to where it goes in to heal certain parts of the body, but more importantly, that anytime you're stressing and you're thinking about something that's negative to the point to where you can't breathe, you're not focusing on the with all those heavy toxic thoughts, all those dark thoughts, your body can't heal itself. The atoms and the neutrons and electrons, it sends messages when there's pain and when there's something going on. The good bacteria, all of that works together. All those chemical components, all of the electricity that is in the body and the minerals that you do have in your bodies is starting from the brain and is trickling down, goes all the way down to the feet to help heal the body. Why do you think that you see so many older people today in good shape, you all, that's practicing different forms of breathing techniques, and some of us call it yoga, but they're practicing it, and now they're able to take and renew their whole bodies. How do you think that's possible at 60, 70, 80, 90 years old? Now it's not happening for uh, um, for for as many as it should, because some just will not take out the time to care for themselves like that. But I do have in mind that if I don't allow myself to pass away from a broken heart, and what I mean by broken heart, by seeing all of our people that I see that could be healed, could be helped, not do it. And it's not because of the lack of knowledge, it's just because they lack the will, they lack the mindset. I don't have a watch on y'all, but y'all get it. They lack the mindset. I mean, you really do have to set, and I know they say there's a scripture that says that we have to set our affection upon things above and not upon things of this earth. And here goes. Something from above made us, and we are here on this earth now. But for those who believe in it, they said when you transition on, when you die, you don't die. Your spirit still ascends out. It still lives on. And some of us go as far as say it goes into the heavens of the heavens. And so let's say if this be true, then taking care of yourself is setting yourself upon things above and not on things of this earth. I know that was a little deep, wasn't it? It's not, did not. Yeah, every now and then things like that come to my mind. If you come from above, if you were created by something that's above this earth, some call it outer space, the ethers, the stars. Oh, we are from this galaxy. If you are into astronomy and how the earth have been evolved and the planets and all that, and you pay attention to the creation around us, and you truly believe that, or you see the facts in how creation started about, and that you understand that this planet, even this planet called earth, and all that's around us, had to be formulated from something that was above, something that's in this space, then setting your affection, meaning caring for something, that means you are setting yourself upon things above and not just on things on this earth, so that you can get so that you can rise above this toxicity, so that you can rise above sickness and pain while in this flesh, this vessel that we're in. You ever heard anytime when when you have been in the crowd? I don't know about y'all, but I am. I'll go and I'll go into a vision and a zone real quick. I don't care if I'm around 1,000 folks, because of my mind, the way my mind operates when it's in this healthy state, in this most spiritual place. I can be thinking, I can be getting a vision while all noise, while it's everything. You see where we at? We're in the city. I'm not in the country, you all. The country is up the road a little bit, but my mind can just get a glimpse of something that's taking place. Some of you all may have that same ability. And at that point, my mind, my brain, my energy, my spirit, it's not on this earth. It's it's set up on things above. What's going on? What's the first thing that we do when we go outside? And we want to know how it is that you're supposed to dress, so that you can make sure that you're not over or underdressed, because you want to make sure that you don't get sick, or that you don't get too hot and wind up raising your blood pressure. First thing you do is you go outside and you want to look up from off this earth, and you want to know, what is the weather like? For Black folks, or for quote unquote Asiatic original people, we stick our heads out, or we look outside the window for the most part. But for our techie ones that believe in how wacky the weatherman is and the weather woman can be, we go on there. We say, okay, what's the weather gonna be for today? So I know what I got to wear. You are setting your thoughts, your affection upon things above, and not upon things of this earth. You just know that whatever's going on up above is affecting the earth. You ever thought about it like that? Like, to make you think. I guess I should have did that little. Y'all know that that little it's the little what they call that little thing, the little emoji thing where they I'm sorry, where they show the where they show the brother, then he be like this. That should have been me. They're like, think, y'all, think, just think. This is the reason why they want to kill you off with the food and with the drugs and with the air pollution, because they don't want you to think. You cannot enslave and you cannot control the people that are thinking above and learning how to navigate on this earth to where they cannot control you in a negative way. This is the reason why I believe, the critical reason why it was meant for us to take care of our vessels. Because by taking care of the body, you automatically take care of the mind. And your mind is not so far gone from the things that truly matters in life. Okay? And so I'm at a place now to where I'm like, okay, I'm so thankful that I made it from the mundane, because I was just so heavy. I know you all felt it. And I know I'm not going to apologize, because that's the problem. Everybody that's that is in some form of leadership, or as they call them now, influencers, and everybody's coming, most people is coming before these internets and doing all this stuff. Y'all know I talk about it all the time. Like, share, you all, please subscribe. Make sure that if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That is very helpful. And like and share for anybody that you think that this will help. And yes, you can ask questions. I'm going to open up for questions in about 10 minutes. And so, and I do get a chance to see the chat. So that's a good thing. But I noticed that everybody's said so professionally, and I know it because we grew up watching TV and watching the news people, the news anchor folks, and wondering how much they're getting paid, and we looking at their clothes and how well spoken that we are. Whatever. Yeah, I did too. At one while, I thought I wanted to become a reporter. Now, I decided that at some point, I know I will wind up just interviewing people that have made a great difference in life. I like that because it's important for us to see and to know that we still have people here that care about other human beings, that care about nature, that care about what God has given us to be able to work with for the short period of time that we're left here. It matters. I took and I had a friend, a really dear friend of mine, and I know that they didn't mean any harm. And they said to me during the time of me, missing my daughter Najee, and they said to me a few days ago, they said, "Well, Felicia, and it's okay." She was like, "What you experience is unnatural. The parents always go. It's natural. It's more natural for the parent to go before the child." And I was like, yeah. And in that moment, because I was missing her, I felt very hurt by that, very hurt by it. Because I'm the natural queen, remember? I'm into my natural. Okay, with the exception of my braids, I have it out in a minute. Y'all, okay, whatever. But still, even. Ain't no hot comb to my head no more like it used to be, having them having burnt marks on your neck and all over your head and picking scabs because your hair done got dry. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, when we used to get the press comb took to the head. Because I had Mbaba hair. Yeah, it got better as I started using natural it got better as we started using natural products, and the texture got a whole lot better. But now I had that Mbaba, 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 Mbaba. I had that Afrocentric hair. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, I just had that moment. Okay. But back to what my friend was saying. She was saying it's unnatural. It's unnatural for you to, and so I knew what she meant. But it's just really not what I wanted to hear in that moment. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, thanks for uh the encouragement. That was not really an encouragement. Yeah, you just made me feel so much more worse now. And I know that, look, she's been there for me through thick and thin, and in some really critical times, right there when my daughter passed. So let me make sure that that's balanced. I know she didn't mean any harm. I know that for a fact. When you know that you know, you know that you're held accountable for how you respond. And so she said it twice, and I was like, okay, I heard you. I want to say, I heard you. We on the phone. I'm like, okay, this is not what I need to hear right now. And so I say, man. So I got off the phone feeling more heavier than ever after my karaoke experience, after all that. And I'm like, well, no, it wasn't that. It was the day before that. But I didn't forget what was said. Power in the life and death lies in the tongue. And I heard somebody else, and I made this point before too, that's not just what we say and what we speak, it's what we put on the tongue. It's what you put on the tongue. It's not, yes, and that term does come from the scriptures. And so whether you believe it or not, we see it. And I like to use that all the time because it got so many people. I grew up around Bible scholars and people that's always and still is around folks that got all these different ancient scripts and texts and things of that nature. And I was one. I started at 8 years old. I was going to get really young. I was memorizing the scriptures back and forth and all deep. My family was in really deep into the church, and in what we called at the time true holiness, and to know the word meant something to me at that time, and still does, because that is, it plays a major role in how we operate today, and what we deem to be moral, and what we deem to be spiritual and good, a good way of thinking in life for the most part. However, it's been very challenging to accomplish a lot of these different scriptures and texts because of a lot of our experiences and our lifestyles and our influences and our environments, where we learn from not just those scriptures, we learn from what we deal with on an everyday basis as well. And everybody around you, in most cases, are not coming from that text, that script. Now, does that mean that we shouldn't strive to practice something that's written that that you find to be helpful for yourself in your life? Absolutely not. That means apply it. You would apply it if a bomb or if someone else that you don't know give you good sound advice. But because of all of this hoopla and all of this, I say hypocrisy, I know many have gotten discouraged from it. I have experienced that. But I say it's better to know Satan's devices and the tactics and what they use to try to defeat your mind, to try to throw you off track, than to sit back and say, you know what, I don't want to have nothing to do with this. And then here it is when you get bamboozled, you don't know why and how it happened. When you get tricked, you don't know how and why it happened because you never learned the word, what we call the word of God, the Bible. Because at the end of the day, that's been the most of our foundation for us brown folks, for us melanated people. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm going to start saying melanated people or brown people, because I'm just not coming across, is it Deborah, where I just saw, and I'm going to look more deeper into it, you all, that they're saying now that the law has passed for now to use the term African American. Take this note, you all, like, share, prescribe, you all, go out, click in there, subscribe, because I do see, I appreciate those you all that have clicked in the 12, and then, but I see there's only a few that's tuning in, so I do appreciate that. But they're saying that they, Watchmen report, I just heard it last night. I was just up in the middle of the night and I just clicked on my thing to check a couple of things. And then, bam, she just popped there. And I'm hearing her and she's posting the whole what you call, I wish I had it on. I wish I could, I might get another phone just for it. But she's posting where now the term African American is used to describe meat, cattle, and canned goods. Meat, cattle, and canned goods. Y'all might want to look into that. I am, after this. I just had my hands, and it just came back to me that I just saw that last night. Now, I don't know how long or when it took place. I don't know how long or when this took place. However, and then of course, a lot of people, I saw the comments where they were saying, I've always have used melanated. Yes. I don't know how long this has been taking place. However, if you think about it, they can probably say that because a lot of the bodies that's coming up. Now, this is where my mind is thinking. A lot of the food has already been tested, especially in McDoubles and all the rest of these restaurants that a lot of people have become addicted to the chemicals. They have found that there were human parts inside of the food. And they have, and then we already saw the report before COVID where they had already raided factories and part of McDoubles factories that had human remain parts in it, raw human remain parts. I forget what time. I don't know if that was in California or what, but I'm sure if you guys pull it up, just Google it. It should still, that report should still come up where they raided a place that was owned by one of McDoubles, and that they saw all those human remains in there. So technically, where my mind went with this is that technically they can say that it is African American goods if they know that they put human parts, melanated people parts in it, passing it off as something else. Now, I've been getting these reports for a long time, but I know to wait a lot of times before I address things, especially when you are coming over these type of live streams. We have to be very careful because not I don't have a fear about getting shut down. That's not my issue at all. But I'm thinking about the fact that they've been practicing this for so long, and now all of a sudden when somebody decides to rat them out, and then the fact that our people now is so addicted to this, you don't realize that now when you go in and you filling out application for jobs or for whatever, to get a home, apartment, a car, whatever it is that you're trying to buy here in America, then now all of a sudden now you got to be even more conscious. At first we had the gender reveal thing to have to deal with, whether or not you're an alien, this and that and the other, or you can put others. It's probably best to put in there others, because melanated people, unfortunately, Sister Jamaica, is not on there. And I think that is by design, that's intentional. Because it would just show just how many more melanated people it is. And now Caucasian people can say that they're melanated now, because some are injected in, or some of them have melanated people in their downline. And they do have a very small percent of melanation in them, 3 to 4. The last I checked, chemically, biologically wise, that is us that have 4 more melanation in us with black hair. I have coal black hair today. I don't have any grays, thank God, not yet. And then brown eyes, black legs, black everything. That shows you that internally, because as you know, your hair and all that comes from within. So that black hue is your melanation, even if you're lighter skinned. All my babies, except for Nigel, was the more lighter skinned baby. All the rest of them are brown skinned and darker skinned. So melanation is in me. My father was what we call the Shaka Zulu, looking very, 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 very melanated man. And so was the entire family. And this is one of the reasons why I was called, unfortunately, by some of my first cousins, oh, since a little girl, well, we got a light-skinned cousin now. Even though we had some light skin on that side of the family, but not in the immediate side of the family. Everybody was dark skinned. Now, even though I came out with more of the culture, the roots of the African, like I act more like so because it was in me. But I grew up hearing it. Oh, we got the light skinned cousin coming. You know, Felicia. Got Felicia in. Comes the light skinned cousin. Now they didn't treat me no different. They treated me a lot of love, so I cannot say that I got treated any different, because once again, my melanated Shaka Zulu daddy set that tone. And so I'm saying that to say that now you all be mindful. This is part of Wellness Wednesday, you all. I told you I'm gonna always address from the mind, body, and soul, and what's going on that can affect us. Overall, our overall well-being. And we are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. So if you've been checking this stuff off, or if you have to renew things consciously, check off the others or Native American, because the truth is, historically, it is obvious that most of us are still derived from the native people, even though you don't want to hear them mentioning it no more. We got it in our mind that we all got to be having this feather in our head and walking around with straighter or wavy black hair and red skin. No, do your homework. My first love and passion before becoming a naturopath was to become a Black history teacher. Do your homework. So many of us are laid off, or either you are retired, and or either you're on your quote unquote holiday break. Do your homework. It's very interesting. It's going to matter. This country is folding. It will take a miracle. It's going to take a miracle. Who's that? Denise Denise Wim. It's gonna take a miracle. Oh, yes, it's gonna take a miracle. Okay, she was saying something else in there to make me love someone new. But no, but it's going to take a miracle for us not to see this stuff come to a halt because his history, their history repeats itself. So yes, I'm saying you all let's pay attention. Stress. I'm gonna say it again. Stress. Dealing. So during this season where we're dealing with people, and you know of people and co-workers and different ones that's lost loved ones due to COVID and all this other stuff that's going on at the same time. While we're focusing on these viruses that they're trying to put out here, you all, this is how they slip in. All these other laws that's going to get you from another angle. Am I trying to promote fear? No, I'm just trying to make sure that we are covering ourselves and are aware of what all to address that you can address. You can address this. You can do something about this. Your penmanship matters. What you subscribe to. I could take it a little deeper, but I know most of our people that tune some of the people that's going to tune in after this is not going to get it. Sovereignty. I'm not going to go there because I know most people are not prepared to live off of whatever you are worth on your social security number. Yeah, I know about that too. That's for another conversation. Y'all can start giving me titles to talk about from the standpoint of mental health and wellness. All of this affects us, our body. If our minds is focusing on or not focused on understanding how laws are changing in this particular country to cause us to get stressed out, then automatically this affects affects whether or not you're going to be focused on getting you in some B12 for some energy and for and to help with your digestive system. Automatically, it's going to affect whether or not I need elderberry to be able to get my to boost my immune system and to be able to give me the proper energy and clear me from flus. Automatically, you ain't gonna be thinking about zinc. I say it all the time, y'all. I say it all the time. You're not going to be thinking about colloidal silver that's clearing out the. So you're not going to be thinking about none of these things when you realize that, wait a minute, I didn't take care of the other things. Think about it. Coming up in school, was it just one subject that you had to learn? Even if you was homeschooled, was it only one subject that you had to learn? This is how I like to apply the fundamentals of life in my mind so that I don't snap, crackle, and pop like Rice Krispie. No, you had 7 subjects for the most part. The least was 5. Even if you was in special education, you had a couple of subjects. You had English, math, a little bit of science or art. You had gym. You even had to learn how they was even trying to teach us how to play, y'all. Okay, we're gonna leave that right there. And so when you think about life and how we all been set to have to do some multiple things. And so that means you got to do some multiple thinking. And you have to do it without stressing. So when something is heavy that I'm sharing, whew, I have to do it myself, you all. I just say it to my mother when she would call me and tell me certain things that's taking place in the family, or what or what my sister was saying, or what different ones are saying. And I'm like, man, Ma, I said, you need me to take care of something, or let me make the phone call, and let me do this. I was that daughter, that firstborn daughter that was stepping in quick if something was stressing my mother, and I'm saying, this is what needs to be done. So my mother had passed the torch even before she transitioned. Is what I'm trying to share. And I said, okay, no, y'all can't do this. This is the reason why I do believe that I have the strength to this day, even when I'm feeling heavy and like, ugh. And I don't feel like that much, but the times when I do, my God, and I don't take that out on anyone. I say to myself, I always have. I've only experienced maybe once or twice in my life, I'll say, no, a couple of times in my life where I was going through something heavy and somebody that was close to me was constantly trying to put more and more pressure on me. And so this time around, I made sure that I prayed and I meditated and I spoke my way out of that. Because I understand that now better than I did before, that some people's mentality, because they've always had pressure on them, they only know to put pressure on you, meaning they don't even know how to be sensitive when they truly need to be sensitive. They literally have to have tons of people to tell them and prod them and say, you know what, that's not right. You you're not treating that person right. See, I disconnect myself from people like that. As much as my heart is big and I like to try to, show and be that light to shine, y'all, that can get exhausting when you realize that you have someone that's around you, close to you, that just really pretty much got a very selfish heart. And yes, this even exists even in the health field. This exists in the so-called churches and ministries, and I've seen it. I've seen it. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, that's not right. I'm the first one to say, I can't subscribe to that. That's not love. That's not consideration. That's not godly. Mm-mm. That person is going through enough. And you just put 10 more things on them. That's why you all heard me say in the last segment that being strong is overrated, because what that means, the lust of our eyes to want to see people do things that's more miraculous or more greater, what we deem to be more greater than ourselves. Weightlifters is a prime example. If you was ever one that's into sports and weightlifting, you know it. And so those people, I try not to really, even though my father was too, very strong man. He lift 1,000, probably about 6 or 7. I remember as a kid, he would put me on this. I could see him. They were plates, all of them weights, 3, 4 stacked, and he would lift them up. And sometimes he would put me on the bar and say, "Fee, get on the bar." And I was scared because I'm like, the bar is so thin, and so I'm like, okay. And he would, and my legs go. Can you imagine how tiny I was? I remember that I had to be no more than about 2'2", and then he kept it up all the way till I was about 8 years old. And he put me on the bar, and he would lay down on the floor. He would, just like that, to show me how strong he was. So I grew up every now and then watching weightlifting, and I later found out that yes, he was entering into competitions back then. I never got a chance to see him do it, but I knew that when I would go home and when my grandmother was there in the land of living, he would be doing it in the room, and he would use me, and he would tell me, walk on my chest. And my father was ripped, and he said, walk on my chest, and I would walk on the chest, running about to fall, and I remember him laughing and trying to catch me. So in my mind, I really was one like fascinated by strong people, physically strong people. Now, I didn't know at that time that my father had a lot of pressure on him, y'all. A lot of stress. I didn't know. How could I know? Dads usually don't share stuff, especially with their firstborn, especially with the apple of their eye. They usually they're going to keep that image of I'm strong. And so I grew up looking at, seeing and how people thinking about, man, who can lift weights like my dad? Who can be strong like my dad? Was I attracted to it? No, not at all. Because I also got a chance to see just how much pressure was put on my dad. I also got a chance to see just how hard he was working. So easily, my heart would be like, Dad shouldn't have to do that whole roof by himself just because he's strong. Where's the other uncles? Where's everybody else? And so when I started seeing my Uncle Frank do it and having from 13 kids, for 14 at the time, and then of course we lost a cousin that would have been the same age of me, and went to 13. And I seen him be out there and working hard and cutting the lawn and building decks. Yeah, I was raised by very physically strong men, which does mean that they were mentally strong, but very creative men. and seeing them working on cars and seeing them pulling motors and all that. I grew up seeing all that. And I'll be first one. I'm watching to see him sweat. And now I'm trying to get some cold water to give to my uncle. I didn't have to do it for my dad because my grandmother had it covered. My mom wasn't there. And so I'm like, wow, that's a lot. I knew even as a child that was a lot. And so I naturally grew up to cater to those who had a lot of weight. It represented weight to me, represented pressure. And it's for those of you all who don't know, my father didn't make it past 58. So it really hit home in 2015 for me when I lost him, when he transitioned. That, physically strong does not equal mentally, or does not equally healthily strong. Can I use that term? Y'all know I make up my own words all the time. Get used to it. It's a melanated thing. Let me stop. Yeah, I just threw that communication cert out the window. Yeah, show you what I think about that from SIUE. That I'm saying to you, no, I got it at a young age. That just because you are physically strong does not make you mentally strong enough, or does not mean that you have all of the answers and the knowledge that you need to take care of that vessel. And so I learned early on to cater to what appeared to be the strongest. That also meant my mother. And you all know she made it to 63. Not a long time, you all. Not a long time at all. So what I learned is that the more pressure that is applied, whether it be from the family and friends and stress, or the occupation, the church, or whatever, that's placed on whoever appears to be strong, outwardly strong, it can take them out of here. That even applies to my daughter. She had been through so much. What I didn't share was that, and we're going to get back to a lighter subject because I know this is heavy, it's a lot. But what I didn't get to you, that you all didn't know when I was sharing, if you go back and see the anniversary, and I'll give my testimony about how we had to try to stay focused and not allow all these different distractions to stop us from being able to birth. Even if you cannot birth children, birth your vision, birth your dream. It's that it wasn't just that the nurses was coming in and out, being a distraction, saying that, man, these are the highest contractions that we've seen in 20, 30 years. How is her little body taking this without an epidural? And I kept saying no. I kept remaining kind and nice. And my mother was on one end, my great auntie was on the other, and my other auntie was on the other side of me. And I'm just praying to myself. I'm trying to focus on the he. But what I didn't get around to telling you all, that when they saw how strong I was, to be in labor for 13 hours, they had a charge nurse to come in. I lie not. Brace yourself, you all. I'm going to share something with you that I never shared before. Like, share, you all. Subscribe. It might help somebody to understand why it's important for us to take care of ourselves. The mind, the body, and the whole spirit. I didn't know at 23 at that time, even after working in the medical field, but I did not work in the labor and delivery department, that they have nurses that are assigned to try to make sure that if the doctor is saying that they're on their way, that in order for the doctor to get paid, I see it glitching, you all. Facebook, you may want to go over to the YouTube. It's for free. YouTube channel, Dr. Chef Felicia and Wellness. DRCHEF. Felicia, Felicia, and Wellness Channel. Here goes. She came in. They checked me for dilation. She stuck her hand way up further in me. I could feel the pressure. The Najee's head was already crowning. Y'all that's been pregnant, y'all know what I'm talking about. That had a baby natural. And she took her, she pushed her back up in me. In order for the doctor to be able to get paid for delivering her. Yes, this did make her lose oxygen to the brain. It took me years before I found out that this is a normal practice, especially if they bring you in for an induced labor. I had a perfectly normal pregnancy. No, no type of morning sicknesses. Blood pressure was regulated, and I wasn't even on an all organic diet at that time. No running in and out for emergencies, just maybe once a false contraction. I was happy. But I believe that because they saw that I could take the pain and that also they weren't going to get paid for me taking that epidural because they get paid for that, y'all. They get paid for it. They said we gotta get some money out of this. She got two insurance, a private insurance and a medical insurance. We gotta get some money out of this. Push that baby back up in her. And I felt it. And my auntie, which done had 14 kids, Bernice Bass, she said, boy, when I tell you I thank God for my elders, she said something ain't, She said, didn't you say that you felt that baby head down there? She said, something ain't right. The baby shouldn't come out now. She knew something had took place. So it's no coincidence that this same auntie that was there when I birthed my firstborn was the same auntie that I was able to call when my baby transitioned from out of here. And so I'm telling you, when I say that strong is overrated, you need to watch your environment and what you are around. Because you got people that will try and put more pressure on you out of the fixation and the fascination and the demonic mentality that they have and the greed that they have in trying to gain something from your strength, to where they will be willing to risk killing that you are birthing in the midst of your strength. Now that's deep, because I never even put it together in my mind that way until this moment. This is the reason why I don't go off of a strip. And I knew it. It was in me. I'm sitting up there thinking, I'm feeling something. Tears drizzled down my eyes because of the pressure of pushing her back in me. But we let it go, because when my strong daughter came out, even though she was pale as ever, she still muscled out seeing her father there. The moment he said what he would say when he would talk to my belly, he would call her, hey, fuzzy feet. Hey, fuzzy feet. And I'm thinking, I said, why he calling her fuzzy feet? Because I had bought her some little footsie, some little fuzzy little foot things, and he thought they were so cute. And so she remembered, she heard him. And she came out the moment he raised down when I pushed her out. He looked down to her and said, hey, fuzzy feet. She said, she waved her arm up. She said, hey. Blew away everybody. Just blew away everybody. I'm like, did she, the doctor, everybody looks at, did she just talk? Did she just say hi? And I laughed. And I say, yes, she knows her father's voice. Just like I knew my father's strength. I knew how heavy things was on him. And this in turn made me be more of an empathy for those men and people that had heavy loads on them. So it's easy to see how I could get trapped up because of my experience. Some of you all are experiencing things that's causing you, that you're taking on that's so heavy. And you won't allow nobody else to help you. But understand this from my testimony to you on this Wellness Wednesday, that if you don't allow anybody else to help you, you are not doing well by the temple that God gave you. Now, if I had died on that table because of what they did, which is actually malpractice, because she still lost oxygen, I didn't find out till 12 years later after digging and trying to get medical rep. They hid it from me. I had to move out of the state from Illinois to Missouri after separation to take her to another doctor, just for the other doctor to pull out those files again and look and see. She said, did you know that she lost oxygen? I said, and I told her what happened, and she shook her head. The doctor shook her head. It's like, oh my God. So not only with me being ignorant, but in my spirit, I said I didn't want her to get any shots. But nobody around me that I knew of was not allowing them to get the shots. So on top of that, she got immunization shots. So loss of oxygen, but we couldn't tell because she came out talking, and she talked all the way through up until the second set of immunization shots. Strong, she's vivacious, and she kept that strength throughout the whole process. And I'm like, man, I'm reaping with the mama bear, if I can call it, in me, saying, I got to get down to the bottom of this because I'm not finding it in the medical papers, but I know what this nurse did. And during this whole process, I'm learning. Information is constantly coming at me, helping me to put two and two together. And by the time it was ready to fight, unfortunately, her dad didn't want to because he was the witness. My auntie and them already been moving out of town and had their hands full. Nobody understood the weight that was placed on me and my mind, which led me to you all to this day. That was the defining moment of strength for me. That I knew then that I had to fight. I had to figure out a way to get this information out. That not only from the labor and the delivery department, but from what they're feeding us, what's in the immunization shots, what's in this, it wasn't. And then even though it doesn't happen to everybody, rest assured, it's only through a period of time. Your child may just be stronger, but it's going to show up. If you don't have them on eating that superfoods and having them in a good environment, it's showing up in ways that you don't even realize it, but you best to know that it'll be showing up in the rebelliousness of that spirit, because that's a sin of witchcraft. I had a cousin of mine that I spoke to last night. She said, I think that the greatest sin is witchcraft. I said, I think you may be right, because in witchcraft is loads of covetousness, lust, jealousy, death, murder. All of them, they're a whole family. You can't have one without the other. It does not represent life. It represents death. If you don't do what I'm saying, that's the highest form of narcissism too. That if you don't do like I say, if I can't have you, I'm going to put something on you to make you love me, make you do me. I've been put in all those situations. I know what I'm talking about. And every time, I'm not going to tell you that it was easy, but I got out of it. And I faced them demons. I faced them and said, look, for everything that you try to put on me, it's coming right back at you. Right in the eye. It's coming right back at you. And it has, y'all. It has. And it continues to happen that way. And this is the reason why That scripture text that says that his people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Why is so critical, you all? Why a Wellness Wednesday? And I know it's different ones doing it now, and that's fine. Everybody have their way of going about doing it. Mine is to make sure that I'm participating, that I'm sharing with you where that wellness first starts. It starts in the mind, what you are thinking. See, if I didn't think to know, if I had thought that just because my background was in nursing, that nurse didn't do nothing wrong, I wouldn't have never thought to search up. If I hadn't thought in my mind, then let me pray, Father, because they're pressing too hard for me to give them drugs. And I even tried to hold them out from the shots, but they had already gotten to the ear of the Father. And no, I'm not saying that to bash. I'm just saying that's just not what was practiced in the church or around nobody around. Everybody had gotten it. But I also got a chance to see the effects that it had now that I know what I know. And now that I'm educated in this and seeing the side effects of these chemicals, now that I'm a certified drug counselor, now I see the effects that it has on the family and the people around me. Even if they don't know, I see it. So by the time they got to 6 or 7, and I was able to finally talk my ex-husband into saying, look, I said, look, I did my homework. I'm not going to get these shots no more. He rests his case because he saw what was happening to our daughter. He saw the seizure and the epilepsy that came and that took and derived from that. He saw her when she stopped talking and communicating as much as she did in the beginning, in the very beginning. He saw it, and now he knew, I can't keep down this woman. She's on to something, even though ain't nobody talking about this around us, even though everybody seems to be afraid, even though everybody is trusting in all these nurses and these doctors. Even though I hadn't had no degree at that point, all I had was my work experience of seeing the side effects of drugs and medications from being a CNA and habilitation specialist at that time. Home health care provider. I hadn't done it all up until that point. And I was good at what I did. And not because I knew what I was supposed to do, not because of me graduating and me getting, because I worked hard, but it's because I cared. So if my clients would say that medicine make me feel some type of way, I said, okay. I'm going to give it to them. I'm not going to force it. I had some to try to come to me. You got to give Miss Johnson her stuff. I'm looking like, just walk away. So I was practicing it while working in the health field, before I even became a naturopathic doctor. Because I'm listening to the sound, to the voice. One, prayer and meditation, and Father, is I'm walking through the door of every nursing home, or every hospital, every place I was at. I was always praying, Father, help me to be able to take care of my clients better. I had the heart, even at 19 years old, didn't know. And as time go by, you all see this. You all know it's not right. That's the reason why you all tune in to me and others about natural health. Because these things are happening to other people. They just don't have the voice or the courage. Some of it is so stressful to where they'd rather not try to think about it. And this, again, is one of the reasons why I say yes, to enjoy the moment is good. You all, it's therapeutic. This is the reason why I don't let anybody judge me about whether or not I like to dance or sing just because I grew up in sanctified church. I don't let nobody living in that paranoid type of state of mind when God has given me health and strength in my body. I refuse to live in that box. I refuse to allow someone to say, well, your marriage didn't work out, maybe because of this, that, and another. No. I saw the enemy for what it was, and God delivered me. I understood that I was just simply unequally yoked by spirit. And I allowed the process to take place. I didn't force it. I pray that if we can work things out, that God, that you know, you've been here in my life all of this time. If you know how to put it together, I did everything that I was supposed to do as far as trying to make sure that everything become more balanced. And when you've done all that you can do, all you can do is stand. They had the song by Donnie McClurkin. After you've done all that you can, you just stand. And so I've taken this over into my health and wellness. When the times and the tough get going, you all, I know it's a lot. 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 But y'all hear me say it all the time. If I can do it, you can too. Because we got this position. We're taking advantage. I've allowed myself to come out of this this thing about being seen by whoever tuned in. Because I didn't like this. This was not my choice to do it this way. And well, not choice, but it just wasn't the ideal of how I wanted to do it. I would have rather to act and and do some meaningful characters than to have to come before everybody and talk like this. But because this is the platform, this is the opportunity that we have to share with one another, I allow myself to get out of that type of paranoia and still come before you all, even after going through everything that I've gone through, because I understood that it does help people. I get the texts, I get the emails, I've gotten the cry outs. And so I only do this for you all because I understand that even if you're not dealing with it today, there may be somebody that you know, a path that's going to cross your path, that you'll be able to take and use my testimony to be able to help them. And this is the reason why I can't only focus on just natural. Because do you not know that even with taking all of these powerful, potent things, which by the way, they are on sale, 3 for $100. They sell for 40 a piece by themselves, but 3 for $100. You get the elderberry, you zinc, everything you need to boost your immune system. Chlorophyll drops, colloidal silver, everything. Even your for life, you can get this. Now this is still 40, but if you want to get 2 of these, then I will take that down to $60, 2 for 60. And then you can get this minerals. But here goes a news flash. And yes, I am able to order, have these in. They should be in by the end of December, by the first part of January with you all. So it's when you all want to start your advanced multi-liquid that's loaded. You all get that. And if you want the brain booster, all of them together, all of the liquids, that's a 30-day supply, you get those for $150. Or by itself is $75 now, because the high demand that is in. And I got to be able to turn over to have enough to be able to get it before their production is shut down again. That's the reason why we had to wait so long. Honestly, that is the reason. I don't have any other reason. They were backed up. So many people calling in trying to prep for the first of the year for this next wave of virus. So they're backed up. They make thousands. They manufacture thousands of all of my other products, not just the multivitamin. And they do make it for other companies. Someone asked a question to me, just for the record, that asked me, do I know of any other this is my own brand, Dr.Chef Botanicals Advanced Multivitamin Liquid. Somebody asked me, do I know of another one that's of the same quality of mine? And honestly, on my mother and on my daughter, on my life, I don't. It took me, I've been trying to find another liquid since I saw one time in Whole Foods, and I don't see it no more. That didn't have soy, didn't have nothing else. And even though the soy, let me clear this up, that's not as bad in the small amount, the organic lithium part. I don't feel that it has a great effect on when you have these type of high potent vitamins and nutrients in a. That I don't think that we should get so scared, especially if you still eating other things that have traces of it. I think that all of the other vitamins, I will say that if you do come across one with one, if you're not allergic to it, especially you B blood types, then I say that you still would benefit for taking it. Just for the record, when you have lots of vitamins and minerals in there, because this is not all that you will be eating throughout the day, and it's still liquefied. And so I do believe that when you have this load of all these different minerals and vitamins in there, and then it say it's about a little soy, I don't think that we should panic about that anymore. I've been watching the outcome of other clients and other people that have had some of that. I did used to be completely strictly no this, no soy, no, 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 no. But the fact that we eating more of other artificial things than we are taking any type of natural supplements that are high and potent, that may have a little bit in there, then no, I would say still take your vitamin if that's all that you have. But no, I have not come across another liquid vitamin, multivitamin, that's loaded with all of those hundreds of different fruits and vegetables and all of the main vitamins that the body need. I've been looking. And this is the reason why I invested in having my own created. And I've been after this for the past 20 years. And when I say I only came across one, that doesn't mean there's none other out there. No, it doesn't mean it. I just haven't seen it. You can search if you want. But I can promise you this, you're going to wind up paying way, way more than you paid for mine. I can promise you this, because I think at the time when I saw that, that was maybe about 8 years ago. And that's where I got the thought from, the idea from, to make my own liquid advanced molecule, because the liquid penetrates through the body faster. Was from when I saw it at Whole Check, is what we call it. Y'all's call it Whole Foods. And it was, I think at that time, I think that one was like $60, but that was 8 years ago. Now, as you all know, inflation has happened since then. And so I'm saying all that to say that even with getting all these vitamins, the reason why I point out stressful things that can happen in your life, the loss of loved ones, if the body has been reaped with something, or somebody's tried to do harm from you, or stressful, toxic relationships and things of that nature, your body will not absorb the minerals. And you're wondering why you're still sick. And you say, I'm taking everything that I'm eating everything I'm supposed to. I know, because I got to lean back in the chair for this one, y'all. I had to lean back. Hurt, pain, unforgiveness. I told you that's what I had to be realistic about. Was I wrestling with that because of everything, all the weight that was put on me this year? Unnecessarily. Even though I was trying to prep, I was doing my best the year before that to warn. And I'm like, oh gosh, man, I can't believe I got to deal with all of this. All of this with no real true spiritual help here. So I literally had to go back to some of my elders and my spiritual leaders to ask for advice. I was forced to at that point. And I'm thankful that the wisdom spoke. More so, I'm thankful that I listened. And even up until this point, so that I wouldn't take myself through more hardship. Because of being strong. Can I just, y'all felt that? Y'all said that? Got to put the lip down. Strong. No, our people are fascinated. Think about it. We often get upset when we hear about how they experimented on our people. Just saw another documentary where they used to take and they're still practicing this in Sudan and other East African, South parts of African and Palestinian areas, where they take the women and they accuse them of whatever they want to accuse them of, and they take and they hang them upside down and they split them from the vagina all the way up. This has been practiced for years in certain cultures, especially in Africa. That's the reason why I'll be honest. I love the fact that we can get fruits and good soil, and they're about family and different. I love the fact of thinking about that in other countries. But it's also other things that we here in America that we don't have to deal with, that they are dealing with to this day. The abuse of the women. And I'm still seeing it to this day, where our men think that they can go out there and get them because they figure they're going to be more humble. And not realizing that they're still coming from the lineage of being abused. And so now they are on pins and needles about it. And now they're saying, we're finna get you back. I'm hearing the cases more and more, so I have to address that. So I'm saying to you all that no, this is where the scripture come back into play. We got to set our affection upon things above and not on things of this earth. Yes, take care of the earth, the part that you have. Take care, like you would your own home, your own children, your own business, your own work that you do. You take care of that, but don't allow it to consume you to the point to where if things go wrong, things don't go right because of who's around you that's trying to sabotage. Then you do got to answer to a source that's more powerful than you, that's within you, and say, okay, let me seek out some coaching for this. Those who already want coaching for life situations and illness, I don't just coach concerning just what you physically need to help you to lose weight or to get rid of cancer. I coach concerning mental distress disorders as well. 618-388-8100. I did get a chance to put that in the chat. For those of you all that are on YouTube, you can stroll down. I do got to get better at loading that into Facebook. So you all please forgive me for that. But it'd be good that I just be able to come in. I'm getting used to the fact that I don't have to worry about no glitches right now. And so that being said, I'm telling you now that this is the reason why you have to address the personal issues as well, your spiritual issues as well, not just the vitamins. The body will, when it's in distress, because the mind won't allow it to breathe properly, it won't allow you to think properly. You are confused. I could give you a regimen 5 different times over. Trust me, I'm dealing with it. I know what I'm talking about. 25 years plus now. And the body will not receive that nutrient because you're stressing the heart for heavy things that's on your mind. For heavy things, they're all connected. All those blood vessels are connected. So if you don't breathe, because you're talking like sometimes when my mind is so going so, then yes, it is true. Cash App. Thank you, Brother Reese. That is such a faithful brother. Thank you so much. I caught the Cash App. Thank you so much for the Cash App. Is Dr.Chef F.A.J. Jordan. F.A. capital F, capital A.J. Jordan. Thank you so much, Brother Reese, for that. I appreciate it. He's always been faithfully giving. And so I'm telling you now that your body will not heal. It will not heal. I don't care. Yes, the people are making a killing as well in health and wellness on you all if they're not teaching you about how to deal with stressful situations and disorders. Yes, you can subscribe to the scriptures in the Bible, but let's be realistic, y'all. I know everybody ain't reading their Bible today. We got all this stuff. Now you got the internet. It's so much out here now. And it's out there like that on purpose to create confusion. But it's also information that a lot of us need that we did not have, that we were being destroyed for the lack of not knowing. And so it's only natural for, if you notice that it was something that you had a question about in your mind or something that didn't feel right, for you to want to look into it and say, hey, let me check this out because I've been hearing about this for a while. Meaning it's still taking away a lot of time from the scriptural texts, from those who all that want to live your life more closely according to the Bible or the Torah. And for some of y'all, it's the Quran. However way, whatever you choose to lead and guide your life into what you believe is better for you, for your family, for yourself, that helps you to become a better person. I really don't get caught up in it like that no more. I can't afford to. Because at the end, I said it all the time. Your house catch on fire. And that firefighter come up. I said, this is the highest form of hypocrisy. You're not going to tell them, so hold up, stop, wait a minute. Because you're a Christian or you claim to be a Christian. Hold on, wait a minute. Are you Muslim? Or are you Buddhist? Because the fire up in here, but I want to make sure that you're a Christian before you come up in my house. Somebody got shot in the family and you couldn't take them on up to the hospital so they can get the bullet out, or so that they can take and patch it up. You're not going to hold up. Wait a minute, doctor. Do you believe in God? Because if you don't believe in God, I don't want you the only doctor on the staff today. You the only surgeon that can take this bullet out. I don't want you to take this bullet out. Wait a minute, you white, ain't you? Now you gonna let him take that bullet out. I give you a better one. Somebody knock at that door. And they said, we got a surprise for you, we got a gift for you, and it's $50,000. And they look like they're not from here. Could be an alien. Y'all know gonna take it there. You're like, you know what? Are you from Earth? And they got the money in their hand. Or are you a human? Or are you something else? No, you're gonna take the money. They got your name on that check. You taking the money. You ain't gonna care about the company. You're gonna look up the company later after you count your money up. To my woo, guys, and bless me. Good glory. All of a sudden now even though you was an atheist, now you saying, thank God. Wait a minute, but you don't believe in God. I'm just saying, y'all, it takes a community effort. You can't rightly divide nothing if you're not healthy minded. You can't see and you can't think to hear what it is that God has in store for you. You can't get yourself out of a rut. You cannot heal the body. If we're all caught up in all these other hangups that do not help you in the end. So if you can't trust somebody, we say, yes, there's a scripture said, put your own trust in no man. And I get it. I learned that lesson. You can't. Not with certain things. You only trust in those who prove themselves, meaning through their work and what it is that they're doing for you that they show. So you can say, that's your validation ticket right there. No, you know what? No, she did. I sent her to what's called, and my product did come back. With the exception of those who's waiting for this Christmas holiday time. And all she did, I did get a consult when I finally got a chance to get in to get my appointment. No, I did get one. So I'm saying if we're doing that with things, you all, and anytime we need help due to emergencies that can cause tremendous amount of stress, then how much more should you do that for your body, for your temple? How much more? You're the only one that you can trust on. When you go to the doctor's office, even when you call into a naturopath, even you call into me, what do? I ask you questions. I ask you questions. I don't tell you what's wrong with you. The doctor don't tell you what's wrong with you. The only time you get as close to experiencing that, if you come across an actual real prophet that can see, we call the seers, and they can say, but we don't have too many of those too much no more. Got you got a lot of fake stuff going on here now today. Or they up and generalizing a lot of stuff and hoping that they pinpoint it. They see you not have a ring on, and then they see that you looking sad and like you don't look like you wifey material. I'm like, God, show me that you single. I'm like, I'm sure he did. God, show me that you got something wrong in your left leg. Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm limping. My point is that we ask you, what's wrong with you? What's the matter? Like, share, you all. Like, share. What's the matter with you? What is your reasoning for calling in today? How can I help you? How can I be of service to you? And you go down the list of what's going on with you. That's usually how it happens. So that means that the answers is within you. We're only here to assist, to say what we know that you may not know or may not have learned, or just to confirm what you already know and have heard. And you just want to make sure that This is something that you should try to help you with whatever condition that you have. But once you learn that, and it's not as complex as we think. And while I'm talking about that, I do want to put out there to y'all that I think that you all should most definitely, I haven't said this before, but you all most definitely should consider eating right more closer to according to your blood type. I said that early on, maybe about 2 years ago, when people asked me, what do you think? I had a couple of people to tune in and say, Dr. Chef, what do you think about eating right according to your blood type? And and minister wasn't subscribing to that at that time, but I did because I had studied up on it and I did try it. And I shared that at that time. I'm back here again. You should. You should. If you know it. And if you don't know it, then find out. I'm like, well, wait a minute, Dr. Chef, I'm not going to let these people stick me, and I'm not going to let this. Okay. Or I'm not going to, anybody got time to be going back into medical records to see what my blood type? Well, if you know, then ask your parent. Ask your mother, father what theirs is. 9 times 10, yours is theirs. Now, I'm not trying to open up a can of beans because a can of worms. Let me say a can of worms. I'm not trying to open up a can of worms because sometimes you can find out that if your blood type is not the same as either one of your parents, it could lead to you finding out. So let me put that out there. It could lead to you finding out that you don't belong to one of them. So if the blood type wasn't important, then how is it that it can determine whether or not the DNA is matching with one of your parents or not? Why isn't it that they're not saying it anymore about your blood type anymore? I'm hearing it. I get it all the time. In the consultations, I know that the doctors aren't coming out telling you, except for if you have blood cancer or something that's malign in your blood, then they may mention it, but they are deliberately not mentioning the blood type anymore for a reason. For a reason, you all. They're not mentioning it for a reason. There are certain enzymes, certain foods, and we're learning more and more. We don't know it all. That the body reacts to. That's for certain B blood types versus O blood types versus AB blood types versus RH blood types. Certain foods that you cannot take in, that you're having a reaction to, and you don't realize why. It's not just because it's artificial. It's also because your body or your enzymes and your DNA makeup does not agree with it. Just like women that's very hippie, even though they making that seem like that's the ideal way, because the most African or let me use the term now that we know that they're using the term African American to attach that to beef, canned goods, and to other livestock now. So melanated women are usually known for being hippie, but that also means that you carry a lot of more estrogen in your system, more likely to go through tremendous menopause when you don't have a good, healthy way of eating. Also means that you would deal with stress disorders more. It's so much that we don't know, and that I haven't been able to share with a lot of you all because of the focus being so much on these vaccines that's coming out and all of this other stuff and these viruses. And it's done like that on purpose to create confusion. And I do believe in the saying that Satan is the author of confusion. I do believe that. But I have to still go back into it. I still have to get back focused again on, wait a minute. What is the bigger picture here? What is affecting us internally now? What can I do now to prep myself once I made it through the hardship of relationships that was turning into a relationship, and now I made it through this. Now that I made it through all these other things, let me get back focused on what can really truly take us out of here before our time. It's so much that we have to focus on. Our main number one responsibility is to take care of self. Because if you're sick, we already know it. Mothers die on the table giving birth to children all the time. Mothers now, Now so many are sick. Now the children are having to take care of the parents now. When it used to be more so that you didn't have to worry about that until the parent got into old age, 80, 90, 100 years old. God bless the child that got a parent when they don't have to take care of them at all because they done learned the body. They respect the temple that God gave them so much to where they pumping, they going strong all the way into the 80s and 90s and to 100. But we know that's rare, especially here in America. But that's rare. So you all, I'm saying it's important that we all still take care of ourselves, even in the midst of this, because it's coming a time too soon. I say within the next 3 to 5 years. Well, we're not going to be able to get these things. Yeah, and that's me speaking. Call it what you will. Some of y'all don't know what you trying to prophesy. No, it's out here now. We ain't got to make that out spirit. Oh, she prophesying now. Oh, she's to see it. I'm like, yeah. Y'all can see what's happening. And if you can't, then if you be blind, then it's because you choose to be. Even the blind person that's blind can sense what's going on around here. They can still hear. And even a person that can't hear it, they see, wait a minute, the prices went up. So before we have to deal with that tremendous wake-up call and stress of what's going on in our country, you all, I'm saying to y'all, you got to get healthy so that you can be able to think straight. So when the time comes, yes, you have to store up. Stock up on your basic of what you know that's good for your body type. Stop buying all these clothes and all this other crazy stuff. Stop buying up all of this stuff. Stop buying up all this hair that you ain't gonna be able to do nothing with. Stop buying it up. Put your money into your natural health and wellness. Or for those of you all that have investments, invest in that you know that's going to help your community, that's going to help you be able to live. Some of the folks are now already going underground. I already know. I know the billionaires are. But there was a song, that came across my mind that can't run and you can't hide. You will be found out because there's still more poor people. And now even middle class people that's been made poor than it is the wealthy and the rich. Your sins will find you out. The light will take over that darkness at some point. The majority will win at some point. Once we all put 2 and 2 together, start eating food that's more healthier for the mind, start focusing on how you must build with like-minded people, then and only then will we be able to get to a place to where we can be able to think of which way, which direction we should go with the real true spirit, the divine nature in us. Like gods, like little gods, just like the scriptures call us, little gods. If our ancestors was able to navigate through the chaos and the hell that they were going through, and what I stated to just now, where they are still taking and mutilating women and children, and what we see that's happening, it's not just on the news, it's real. I've met people from different countries. I know them. I work with some of them. That's not a lie, y'all. Don't stop just because you don't want to take it, just because it's too heavy on your mind, don't make it not true. See, I have to deal with this stuff on an everyday basis. I have to think about this stuff on an everyday basis. And some people say, so what you gonna do? You gonna move? I say, yeah, I'll plan for both. So yes, I do highly recommend that if you can get a passport, get one, and get one quick. Get it. Yep, I said it. Get your family prepared. Christmas gift for those of y'all celebrating Christmas should be a passport. You can have 2 homes. You can have 2 places. Because that's where we headed. That is where we are headed. And when you do these things, you want to do it with like-minded people. You can't do it with scared people. You can't do it with chickens. It's one of the reasons why they give us chickens. B blood types, and I ain't supposed to be eating chickens. It really affects the B blood type more so than ever. Been meaning to tell that to y'all for a long time. That's the reason why some people are more A, B, and B. Y'all can have a chicken. Chicken ain't even real meat, no way. Yep, I said it. It's not about it being healthy or unhealthy. Well, it is about it not being healthy, but this is the reason why they have attacked the chicken. This is the reason why some of you all got money. You land up on it. You can go get it tested by some here. I'm here at the top 10 college. Watch you, where you can take meat in and get it tested. You can go buy the equipment on your own. You go to Amazon and put it on there and see the mess that's in it. But some of us don't want to see that truth, because then now you got to really deal with fighting that addiction for knowing good and well. I say it again. Now here goes the chef and me talking. If that chicken wasn't seasoned, y'all won't be studying that chicken. I'd say it like that, y'all. I'm just keep it 1,000. If it wasn't seasoned at all, you wouldn't be studying that chicken. That's the reason why so many people were able to transfer over to jackfruit. Because y'all was after the texture, just chewing on something. And you season that up with some all natural herbs and spices, maybe a pinch of sea salt, or a little lemon zest. That's why jackfruit took off. Y'all making salmon patties and everything out of it. Y'all putting in everything. You making tuna. I know, because I did it too. Sure did. I wasn't per se a chicken head, but I was definitely like, hey, I like the texture. Yep, I did. I said, I like the texture of this chicken. So when I found out about that jackfruit, I said, bring it on. So I'm telling you now, you all, that's how they're destroying us for the lack of knowledge. They're manipulating on every end. A few families are literally manipulating on every end. When you don't have time to deal with toxic relationships, you don't got time to be dealing with mind games from different religions and different practices. You don't have time to be dealing with people that you are not on one accord with. You don't have time. All you have time for today is to learn how to better take care of yourself. And then for those you all that have little ones and those that you are responsible for, figuring out a way to gather together your community and your unit, your family, so that you all can be able to make a collective, sound-minded, meaning a good-minded decision on where we must go and what we must do at a time like this. We only have a short period of time. Am I trying to scare anyone? Absolutely not. Just making you aware. We just warning, dust come before destruction. In some cases, people don't even get warnings, it seems like, because we have seen it where hurricanes and all these different things, and the weather is being controlled by people. I've seen the machines myself. The scientists are taking, and they are controlling. The engineers have learned how to control the weather, and it's been taking place for a long time now. So whatever town, the city they want to wipe out, they can wipe it out. Yep, you heard it from me. I don't got no clip to show y'all. Y'all can go look it up now. They're not hiding it. The scripture even says that in the last days, Satan would tell off on himself. And they are, because they figured that we ain't doing nothing about it no way. We're not rising up like Haiti did and like other countries have, that where they done fought against, or we're not even doing like like West Africa and small parts of South Africa is doing, where they fighting back and they pushing these demonic people out. We're not doing even what the other countries, over 200 some countries, done banned Bill hate from being able to even come into their country. We're not doing it, and we don't have no petitions, no millions of petitions signed out to ban them. You know why? It's obvious. Because the lust of money, the greed, the pride of life is called the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And I'm going to add God complex. Because I got this so-called power over people, I can do whatever I want to do. Because these people need the money and the jobs and all of the charity that I done given. They need me. America is thirsty. Very thirsty. Very wicked. And so are any of the other countries that's attached to it. And they see us sitting back, just hoping to barely just get back home and get back into our comfort zone and try to just make ends meet or trying to make our quotas. They watching everything that we do. And they know we ain't studying rising up. And there is a scripture, y'all. But more so than the scripture, it's the history. Only when the people rise up, anytime they have an unjust rulership, which you do have a just right to rise up, can anything be overturned. No, instead, what's happening is that when people are bringing about this information, what happens is people start saying, well, there's conspiracy theorists. You know what a conspiracy is? Look the word up. A theory is something that a person comes up within their own mind, that's not factual, that there's no proof of. It's plenty of proof of what they're doing. Look at all the dead bodies that we have to account for. My father-in-law was one that had Monsanto chemicals inside of the body. We were part of that lawsuit. And they wanted us to settle out for less than $1,000, but barely $2,000 for all of me, for myself and all of my siblings. I said no. So not only did he get taken out for being too much stress being put on him as a melanated man, but also from the chemicals that have been seeped into his bloodstream all those years. And the reason why he was able to even make it when the other people died off, even unto 58 years young, was because he was an O blood type. If you don't know what that means, that's the original bloodline that we know of. Was he would have been taken out with all the rest of them that wasn't beforehand. That still didn't stop them from the next day calling me, asking me about all the body parts that they wanted of my dad the next day. It took everything in me, my whole being. That was the first time I felt everything in my whole, just everything. It's like I went through a whole, if I could have turned into some type of supernatural something, then it just could have just flew up into the sky and just, I would have. Because you are worth more dead than you are alive today, unfortunately. Yes, you are. Now that the STEM search, y'all done heard me say it before. Now that the STEM search research has been, laws have been passed, thanks to them having Michael J. Fox coming before the folks shaking. You need a STEM shift so it can help me. Now you don't see them at all going before Congress, do you? Do anybody know how Michael J. Fox is doing today? You know, the one that played on the Back to the Future movie. And inside of that clause, for those of us who don't like to read, it was not just about the STEM search. They had been already had incubators and banks out here that was where they were practicing with weird, crazy scientists. Demonic folks was already taken forth. They just wanted to make sure that when we put 2 and 2 together, that we wouldn't be able to sue them because it's legal for them to do it now, to take all of your STEM search and to recreate a new body. For who though? Some say robots. Some say clone. Say whatever you will. It's just not humanly right. They want to live forever. Then going right back to what we like to debate about the Adam and Eve, you all, about, they said the serpent came to Eve. For those who all that have heard the story and they believe it or not, still, I can use it as an example, that he said that the serpent was able to entice, meaning the lust of that eye for that fruit. But Adam was able and Eve was able to be seduced into being able to take the forbidden fruit, because he used the term that he knows that the day that you eat of this fruit, that ye shall have everlasting life. You will live forever just like him. So now what happens? Going right back to it again. Let's go. Let's fast forward. For those of y'all to say you don't believe that anything like that took place, and some debating whether or not it was mankind, like, it don't matter. We're doing it. It don't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter whether or not it was mankind or whether it was a human. We are in this country, we are in this world where we are eating of the forbidden fruit that's not even giving us long life. That's not even giving us long. So we did something worse, sir. We're not even getting the exotic fruit that will take you. Most of us are not even getting the exotic fruit that will help you to live, not even to 200. We're taking on the artificial fruit. They said let's do worse than what we wrote about or what was written about when we described the Adam and Eve. And that's the reason I don't get caught up with talking about the Garden of Eve. Because mankind has shown us that they like to repeat the same thing. And if you are the descendants of them, that's your ancestors, then do we not expect for our offsprings to do the same, if not worse? You can't even promise that we're gonna be risen back up again from our those of us who getting caught up with being calling ourselves Hebrew Israelites. Yes, I said it. I keep asking, what tribe are you from? Were you part of the tribe that kept murmuring and complaining? They wanted to go back to Pharaoh? They wanted the good life? They couldn't walk it out? Turn what was supposed to be an 11-day journey into a 40-year journey? Are you part of that tribe? Wow, Dr. Chef, man, that's tough, Dr. Chef. No, it's not. Realistic, think. You better think. You'll know it because of the way you live. Your DNA shows who you are based off of, we say it all the time. Think about it. Just think about y'all that got your mothers and your fathers that's been around your mothers and your fathers and your parents and your aunties and uncles. We all know who act like who. Ain't no different. You struggling within your flesh. You struggling to eat right or to eat that is healthy, just like everybody else did struggle that was before you. Now you got to change your mindset. Literally have to change your mindset. And you can once you have knowledge. Once you learned something that your parents didn't know. The mind controls the whole body. It is strong enough to literally change the DNA. Meaning how you move, how you think. I'm not the same size that my mother was. My mother was slim back in the day. My mother wasn't my size when she had me. There's a big woman. There's a chunky mama. Mm-hmm. How did I manage to do that for 48 years? Neither was my grandmother. I'm the same age as my grandmother. Her mother was when she passed. I'm 48. How did I wind up not turning out to be the same size as my mother? How? I changed the knowledge. I changed my education. I changed what it was that I wanted to believe in. I didn't just open up a Bible and say that because I'm a child of God and I'm saved now, that God gonna fix all this for me. I even focused on different kinds of scriptures, texts that supported what we were supposed to be doing for the body. Did I get an ace down 100% to the what? Absolutely not. But you better go for that 80-20 rule. It's still better to be more healthy than not. And I know some say, come on, Dr. Chef, how did, you don't know how long you're going to live. You're right. I don't. I just know that I'm supposed to do my part to make sure that I'm not leaving out of here from anything that I've done, for any knowledge that I have learned while I'm here on this earth. That I'm not suffering from what I did not apply, for not applying the knowledge that was good for me, that I'm supposed to live by. That's a crying shame to do all of this work just to be caught dead and slumped over from eating a hot dog. That'd be a crying shame to sit here and to teach all these people all of this stuff, and then They catch me and I got a big gulp soda pop, and here it is, my kidneys is shot because I'm sitting up here struggling. I'm not gonna give y'all that feed. You don't care if I. Oh yes, I do care. That's the problem. If you don't care for self, you ain't really truly caring for nobody else. No, you not. I don't care how much of a people pleaser you was made. It's eventually going to come out. That eventually turns into resentment when you start to feeling bad. Because you cannot operate in the fullness of your strength and your abilities being sick if your body is aching and hurting. You barely struggling, and we are people that, I'm gonna say it again, you like sin. They have programmed too many of us to sit here to think that just because somebody can take so much on the top of their back and can carry all this stuff, that we are, oh wow, they strong. Woo, look at them. Woo, look at, wow, we. I know ain't nobody really addressing it like this, y'all. I know we don't have naturopaths that's addressing it like this. And I'm always going to be into changing the way, the perception, the way we think, because it does start there. Whatsoever man thinketh, so is he, meaning so you become. Because you can only think, whatever you're thinking will add up to what you do, whether it be bad or good. I think, you know what? If that girl take one more thing to me, I'm going to slap her. I'm going to slap her because, see, she all out of order. She can miss me with that. And that girl just keep coming back. And you keep in your mind telling her, so you know what? I'm going to deal with her eventually. I'm going to deal with her. I'm going to deal with her. Keep telling yourself that. And it's only a matter of time before you deal with her. We see it all the time, parents. For those of y'all that grew up chastising your children, spanking the kids. You know what, boy? I told you. Don't you put your hands up in there again. Well, I'm going to spank you. You might not did it once. Mothers are most guilty. You might not did it the first time. The second time, but let him keep on putting his hands up in that food. Let him keep on putting up in that pot. Because you already told yourself that I'm going to get him the next time. Well, Mom, what? Wait till I get off this phone. Wait till I get finished changing your sister. Wait. I'm going to tell you up. And it's only a matter of time before you turn them up. What makes you think that your brain's shut off when it's time to think about what you're eating, what you're putting in your body, and how you should move and shake, and how you're dealing with relationships, and how you do? What makes you think that it don't do the same thing? You know what? This man's getting on my nerves. I'm going to leave him eventually. He going to keep on trying me. And he going to find out, yeah, I love you. Yes, I do whatever I have to do for you. But you just keep on. I'm going to find a way to get rid of you. Do you not find a way to get rid of? Man, you know what? I'm just tired of her. She done got out of shape. She done got out of the way. You know, it's too many women out here. I got to get me a good looking woman. I got to. This woman, when I married her, she was slim. Now she about 400 pounds. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's unhealthy for me. That's unhealthy for her. I don't want to take care of her. I don't love her like that. Eventually, I'm going to go ahead and find me something else. He's saying that to his boys. Eventually, he going to do it because he thought it. He didn't just see it. The lust of the eye, once again, the lust of the eye did it. He saw that it was something else that he don't know whether or not that's a better wife or not, a better woman or not. He just look in the eyes because she done picked up some weight. Go work out with her. Keep on working out with her. You weren't saying that when you popped up with them babies. You weren't saying that when she was frying all that chicken. You weren't saying that when you was getting down. You was enjoying all that flubber then, wasn't you? Mm-hmm. Keep on doing it. But see, we don't have enough commitment. We don't take commitment serious because you're not committed within your mind. That's what I say. It does start with you first. Forget what everybody else doing. Even forget what Bill hates to do. I mean, don't forget, keep your eyes on him. You got to watch your enemies. But by all means, still be working on yourself. That's important, you all. That's everything. There's a scripture that also says, save yourself from this untoward generation. I said, that's the only scripture that I came across and it seemed like it gives you the right to be selfish in some type of way. If it's a shark coming after you, now I'm going to use shark because I've seen people fight back with dogs. Even I have fought back with pit bulls that was going to try to come back at me. Yep, I'm a different kind of breed because I saw my dad master animals and my brothers. They just had that original man way about them where they could calm an animal. I don't know. They was just magical like that. Everybody else running and my daddy, he got, and that animal just like, wait a minute. It could have been because he's a very melanated man, about a little bit over 6 feet tall. I'm sure that had something to do with it, but they couldn't smell fear on him. But I kind of adopted some of that in my DNA. And I never forget, I was going to the townhouse. And sometimes you can sense things, you all. It's another reason why it's important to be healthy, because your senses, all of them, start to work. And as I'm coming out, it's just not getting dark. And I knew my son couldn't hear me because I don't think either my phone was down or something, but it may have been off because I'm coming to the door because normally he would come and help me to get the groceries. But this time I didn't. And I had my whole hand. I had a voice say to me, don't carry all of them in at once. Because I'm looking around. Now, mind you, no dogs have been out. Everybody that walked their dog in this neighborhood, usually have them on a chain. So never had a loose dog come at me or nothing. But the dog came at me anyhow. Right as I'm about 4 feet away from the door. And out the blue, I see this little pit bull. He just going. Now, mind you, before I got to the door, I sensed that something was out there. While I got my hands full of the bags. And some said, man, I already had in my mind. I said, boy, I hope it ain't nothing out here, because it is, man. It's getting ready to get dealt with today. Just the spirit of Samuel just came up. Because I just had the feeling. And rest assured, that dog came out. He came out like he can. And so before I could even think again, mind you, I already prepped my mind. I had them bags. I grabbed them up. I said, just like that. Boy, I know it. I looked back, just like that. Sure did. That pit bull stood back and went into Scooby-Doo mode. He went, huh? He went, huh? It stopped me like, huh? It's like this little yellow girl. Wait a minute, is she human or is she like me? But she said she got grocery. I know that grocery. Wait a minute. I don't know now. And so I did. I grabbed my bag and I walked slowly to the door. I ain't run. Opened up that door, kept my eyes on them, and got my butt up in that house. Now, do I recommend y'all to do that if you don't have? I don't recommend everybody to do that. Like I said, it's in my DNA. And so I'm like, wait a minute. But that show, once again, the mind. I had already said that I hope ain't nothing out here, because if it is, because I was tired. I had a long day. I already worked all day. I went to the grocery store, and I'm just ready to get in the house. So what I'm saying is that you have to prep your mind. I can't stress that enough, because I know that we have been brainwashed. We have been brainwashed to think that just because your neighbor's sick, that you got to be sick too. Oh, look at that. They got, man, I had a woman. Let me use this one right fast. I had a woman to say to me, and I'm going to get to the question. I had a woman to say to me that she wanted to be sick in order to get her significant other at the time to care for her because she'd never been cared for before by anybody. I said, excuse me? This is some years ago. I said, excuse me? I said, was your father in your life? I did. I asked her. She was older than me, and I asked her, I said, is your father in your life? She was about 50 years old. And she said, no, I had my stepdad. I said, well, how did he treat you? And she said, oh, well, he had favorites. He favored my sister over me. And every time he wanted me, he would take a bell and he would ring it for me to come and do something for him. But other than that, he never acknowledged me. I said, oh, I understand now. I get it. So it means something to you to be with a man that even though he's mentally and spiritually abusing you and he's not properly providing for you at all, that he showed that he cared for you by taking care of you and by she got injured and he took care of her. So that meant to her that it was okay to ignore all of the other negative things that they were doing to her, even putting her in a place to where she didn't have lights for months, and it was horrible. And I said, So I took her in for about a month or so, and I just got to a place where I started to minister to her, is what we call it. And she eventually said, I want to go to my sister's home. And I said, okay, then you shall. And I looked her right in the eye. I said, don't you ever. I said that I love her. I said, don't you ever let nobody do you like this ever again. I said, you're worth more than that. You're very talented. You're very smart. And I said, God must have thought something of you. You're here today. He created you. She went on to be an author. She went on to get married to a man that treated her very well. She went on. She's doing very well for herself now. But even she understood that she had to eat healthier because during that time, her lifestyle of eating wasn't good neither. So it affected everything. So it is a fact, you all. Brace yourself. When you start to take better care of yourself, it would be hard for you to allow any other form of toxicity to be around you. So let me go ahead and put that out there. Because what you created, what you took on in the midst of you not taking care of yourself. I know I'm speaking from experience. Anytime you're taking care of yourself, your mind starts to think in a more healthier way. It becomes allergic. Can I use that term, allergic? It becomes allergic to anything that's toxic. And now what you thought was cute, what you thought was good enough, what you thought that you needed, even though it was coming in this wolf in sheep clothing type of way. Now all of a sudden, now you're like, you know what? This is starting to make me spiritually, mentally, and emotionally and physically sick. You're going to do away with. It doesn't matter how much good it appears that the person will die. You're going to do away with it. Because the body, the mind, the body, and the spirit is not made up to be unequally yoked. We do it with friendship all the time. Moment you start doing better for yourself, and you notice that friend is not happy for you, and they started getting jealous. And well, now you think you're better than this man because you get, Well, man, don't forget about me. Just because you came up, just because remember we was in prison together. Now you going on to be successful, have your own business, married, got children, and now all of a sudden now they trying to break in your house. You disconnect. Husband and wife. Well, I want to be healthy. Well, they don't want to be. And now all of a sudden you've been called a bad wife or a bad husband because of you don't want to participate in them making themselves sick. And now they finna make up some stuff on you. Now they finna get the line because now they realize, wait a minute, hey, I can't make her, because that's not real love anyway. I can't make them do what I want them to do that's toxic to themselves and to myself. And so now I got to create a wedge. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. You have to be used to that type of mental and physical and spiritual abuse in order to stay in that. I'm not. All praises be to the Most High God. I'm not. For those who adore, now we have gotten to a place now to where we celebrate people sticking it out. I'm gonna say it again, strong, overrated. We celebrate people taking on things that they're not supposed to be taking on, that even God himself did not design for you to. Than we do for those who's making a righteous decision to just to do the right thing and to be healthy enough to truly, truly help someone else. And I know it varies. It gets real tricky when we're talking about health and wellness in the ministry. It gets real tricky because on one end, like I said with Bill Gates, if you look up at all the foundations and the charities that he's doing, you would think that man is a saint. But on the other hand, what's hidden, that's now being revealed. Now that people know, they're like, man, we need to get him out of here. Not everybody saying, no, we got to get him out of here. But ain't nobody seem to be showing enough bravery. We got a few people in Congress trying to change the laws, but not enough. When we found out that jab was not, that they was trying to bribe us with that jab, 70% of people here in the city, where they call when we top 5 of murders by gun violence, all of them drug dealers and all, everybody's like, wait a minute now, they trying to give us donuts for this. They trying to give us $100. Something don't smell right here. 70% of the melanated community did not take the shot. They didn't like that. Evil has they don't rest. So we can't either. Your rest come after the battle. Because we are in a spiritual and natural warfare. We are. And everybody has a role and a part to play in it, just like every body part has a role in the play in it. You need your other hand. And if this hand got chopped off, you're going to try to use that arm. If the arm got chopped off, you're going to use the other hand. If one eye got hurt, you're going to look out the other eye. God gave us everything that we need to make up this body, even if you're handicapped. And so this is the type of mentality, you all, that we have to have. Be thankful for that all of the activities and the limbs that you have now. Be thankful that the mind that you have to even tune in to say, let me hear what little Dr. Chef have to say about this. Because you know she's going to be chatting it up. She's going to be saying something. That's still a healthy mindset. Not because it's me that's saying it, but because of the matter, what I'm discussing, what I'm sharing with you. I know that it's been shared to help you all to think in a more healthier mindset, in a more balanced way of thinking, without having the thoughts that, oh, I need to give up. Just like how I said I felt on Monday. But I knew I couldn't stay in there. I told you I got 24 hours, if that, within that 24 hours. I don't allow myself no more time than that. So it will have to come sporadically. Now, I made up my mind. I set my mind to do that. Is it, can most people operate like that? Probably not. Because I'm not most people. Neither are you. But we do have to figure out a way to literally take the mind and that energy and the power of thought to draw all good men, all good women unto us. You do. And so let me look down here. I know I went longer than what I had expected, Dr. Chef, since you spoke on eating by blood type. Can you speak on blood transfusions? I do not subscribe to blood transfusions unless it's stated in well in advance. You are crossing over DNAs, and this is the reason why it's so critical, y'all. That's a good question, Sister Dorothy. My apologies for not seeing it sooner. But the blood type, let me go into, because where are we at now? Three. Okay, I'm going over, but that's fine because somebody may be tuning in, coming in out for work. You all like, share, subscribe. Thank you for the ones who already have. Thank you. Even on Facebook, you can share. Here goes. Blood type. I personally would prefer not to have blood given to me only because of my own personal experience. I'm not going to give you any stats from an article or anything. I'm going to give you from my personal experience. My personal experience is that because they get paid for blood transfusion and because they don't practice a natural way of cleansing the blood, this is the only reason why this is the option, unless you have lost a lot of blood in the car accident and the body is going faint. The heart rate is extremely down low, meaning all of these things are taking place. You're about to go in and out. I do know of cases where people have, but unfortunately, what I've seen is that people usually don't live that much longer after they've had their blood transfusions. Not enough to appease my mind. And so when it was presented to me in 2000, when I had my daughter and niece, Deja niece, and she's 23 now, and they told me that I only had 6 pounds of blood when I needed 14 to give birth to a child. Now, mind you, I was still anemic at that time, meaning lacking in the amount of natural iron and B12 and all of the different nutrients that I needed. I was depleted. I had 3 children back to back at this point. I'd already had Najee, then Kenneth, and then Deja niece. And so my body didn't get a chance to get that break, which now I'm going somewhere with this. Najee and Kenneth was only 11 months apart, 11 and a half months apart. Kenneth and Deja niece is only 10 and a half months apart. So my body didn't even get the whole 2 years, 2 to 3 years that a woman needs to be able to give her to provide back the proper minerals and vitamins that it needs to heal itself after giving birth to one. I didn't know what I know now. I tried, but you know how it is when men young and married, Unfortunately, my husband at the time did not have that knowledge of that. All he knew was he had him a wife and he wanted to have some babies. He said he wanted 3 children. You wind up having the 4th. We added on that Naomi. And I tell you now, my body had been taxed at that point. And so practically and logically thinking, you would think that, yes, she has to go in. She has to get this blood transfusion. Listen to what the doctors say. They said, you only have 6 pints of blood. This is your 3rd birth. You have no epidurals and you're done. You cannot do this. This is what they said to me. You cannot do this. This is why I have such a strong conviction on not trusting every time, unless you have been in a car accident and you have obviously lost a lot of blood. But mind you, I haven't had my baby at this point. She came in 4 hours. They turned around and they told me that I had to have the blood transfusion. Your iron is low. You only have 6 pints of blood. I was not hooked up to no machine that tested my blood like that. I did not believe them. I simply just did not believe them. My husband is at the time there. My mother is there again. My aunties and them are there again. And everybody's trying to talk me into it. They even put the bishop on the phone. Oh, sister-in-law, you got, God knows everything. My wife, she had 6 children and sometimes you got, and she had a blood transfusion, but mind you, I'm in my head while I'm in labor, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but your wife is also in a wheelchair. I mean, no harm. I love it. Very beautiful spirit. That's what but your wife is also in really bad shape, is what I'm thinking. And so, and I said, okay, I remained respectful. I said, well, thank you so much. He said, now he said, you carrying a lot on your shoulders and you don't have to do this, sister. Once again, people meaning well, but for me, it was just a lot of distraction. And so I gets off the phone while I'm in labor, and I tell him, put up the phone. And I said, thank you for the prayers. Hang the phone up. Looked at my mama. My mama knew not to say a mumbling word. She already knew what she birthed in me. And I sit there, I looked at the doctor. I said, I don't want that blood transfusion. Mind you, I will admit I am O blood type. So my blood is original, the that we know of, the original blood, so-called African, but it is the original Asiatic, the most common blood type for the original link. So was my father. My mother blood was tainted through some of the things that she did in her DNA in her youth. But nevertheless, I came out as an O blood type. I didn't know what that meant then. But in in my mind, I said, this doesn't feel right. I don't see no machines. I'm like, how you go up into my body and tell me what all blood I got in me? See, they think you just would believe anything. And so I'm thinking, I'm 24 years old at this time. My daughter will be 24 this year. So it's a wonder, this upcoming year, it's a wonder that I'm able to tell this story 24, almost 24 years later on 2024. Close, this close. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait a minute. I said, no. I said, I'm covered by the blood of the Lamb. Well, I'm gonna tell you how it was told to me. My ex-husband at the time, he went in the restroom. I asked my mother, where is he? She said he's laid out there on the floor. So obviously, unfortunately, he had went and fainted somewhere. My mother was still holding my hand, praying. The bishop wasn't called no more. My auntie was like, just rubbing my leg. And all I got was a vision that this child, I got a glimpse of her face and how beautiful she would be. And she is a beautiful doll. And how smart she was going to be. A name came to me, everything. And I pushed that baby out with no blood transfusion, even though I was supposed to have a 6 count. And she came out just normal. And she came out being my most attached child, too. My. She didn't want to be around nobody but her mom. They said, you can die. They even went as far as to tell me that I could die having her. And I said, well, I do want to be here for my rest of my children, but I got family. I said, well, if it happened, then it happened. I'm birthing this baby today, and I'm not going to birth her with nobody else's blood in me. My mind was made up. And I walked out of that hospital in 3 days. She said, watch you now. Taking her courses in counseling, wants to have her own business, do what she has always been special and very brilliant. Sometimes I have to make sure that I have to stand down because her reasoning and her logic in a way, I got to explain to her, this is how things go. And I have to step back and let her do her. Because she's a force to be reckoned with. Very sweet, very polite. But at the same time, she knows who she is. She knows what she wants. Do you think I'm listening to anything that doctor got to say about a blood transfusion? That's your answer, Sister Dorothy. No, because they lied. They lied. Same ones that pushed my other baby back inside of me, so they can, so that the doctor could get paid for it. They lied. Same ones that put my son into an incubator for about almost 2 weeks until I said, give me my baby, give me my son. So no, I do not subscribe to it. Unless you got a leg that's cut off and the arm's cut off and the blood is going and you're not prepared to die. And that's the chance that you all take. Because I have phlebotomists and I have other co-workers, colleagues, people that I've raised up with, and that I know that a lot of times they will not give you clean blood. Too many of my clients and people that I know, even family members that have gotten them, are not the same anymore. I don't subscribe to someone else taking on someone else's DNA. If it's a husband and a wife or a child or immediate family member, then I say then that should be doable. But that person should be during that time, if it's not a dire emergency where a limb has been lost or where they obviously lost a lot of blood, Then at that time, I would recommend then that you try to find the most healthiest family member that you can that matches your blood type, and then you go with them or with your mate, because at this point y'all have intertwined. You have changed, in your DNA has morphed into his DNA. But if his blood type is not the same as yours and does not mix with your blood type, then you cannot do this. And this is the beauty, and this is the reason why people come for O blood types. I am a magnet for people. I am O negative. So people come to me feeling like they've known me all of their lives. And now I understand that this is an energy thing. This is a DNA. It's because I'm coming from that original bloodline. So if you're O and you don't realize why so many people feel attached to you and why they want to take you and put you in their pocket and why they want, this is one of the reasons why. One of the major reasons why. I remember when the doctors as a child realized that I was O blood type, and I saw the lust in his eyes. And when I mean the literally, I don't know if he's a vampire or what, but he looking at my veins. And my mother did not know any better. She said, yeah, she gets in. He said, look at her veins. And with me being lighter skin, you can most definitely see that I had the purple. And she said, who? He said, for her to be so young, she got all these veins. How man, he said, they're so plump and they're so ready. And I saw him just getting mesmerized by it. And I'm looking at this doctor, and I'm looking at my mama like, let this man stick me in this thing. And he's just certain he's going in. And I didn't flinch. I just looked at him. I'm about 4 or 5 at this time. And it was like that every time. He said, she's so strong. And she said, yeah, her daddy was strong like that. Her dad is like that. She has her father's makeup. So I knew then that something was different about me. And here goes. I can give to you all, but you can't give to me. Only another O blood type can give to me without contaminating me. I didn't trust the system enough to allow them to have that type of control over me, especially seeing that I was already in the hospital and I did not want to be in there the first get. I wanted to have my children at home. But unfortunately, because that was not something that me and my husband at the time was not on one accord about, I could not. So I was forced to have to go into the system. And I believe that I was forced to have to take this path just so I can be able to come to this point 20 something years later, sharing this with you all. Trust your instincts is what I'm trying to say, against all odds. And this is the reason why it is important that you be equally yoked with the mate and with whoever you are with. Because if you have to go against your natural instinct, especially your naturally motherly instincts, then it will cause you more problems, more hardship, and more heartache than ever before. If you stick to the spiritual and natural knowledge that you have, but because we wasn't raised to trust our own instincts, we wasn't raised to trust the voice of the God in you, it will lead you down a troublesome path and more hardship and more got to be strong and take it on more than what you have to. I'm speaking to the young ladies now. Those who are just waiting to get married, those who want to birth children, you all know, do it the natural way. Well, Dr. Chef, I don't think that I'm with. They told me the same thing. That same auntie, I love her to life. But because mostly all the women in my family was hippie and they were the buns and everything, I was one out of very few cousins and daughters that were slim. And yes, I got called skinny mini, bony, always she ain't got no meat. And then the most famous one was she ain't got no bearing hips. I'm like, bearing hips? I didn't even know what the word bearing meant. And then finally I just asked one mother, I said, what do bearing mean? He said, meaning that your hips ain't wide enough to have in children. What in that? I want to say, if I could, but I know somebody gonna get upset with me. I'm gonna say it in my life. Where the hell did that come from? Where in hell did that come from? Let me say it the right way. Where in hell did that come from? That you got to have hips in order to bear children. that you got to have big hips to birth children. Where did that come from? Somebody talk to me. When the origin of most of all our women were not big, heavy women from the beginning, we see that now. And we birthed this whole nation. They were stronger than what we are now. And so I went in not believing. I went in doubtful at one point, really believing that I wasn't going to be able to birth children because of they constantly hearing that oh, she ain't got to worry about nothing. She ain't got no barren hips. And I wasn't believing because this auntie done had 15 kids. Surely she knows what she's talking about. And she didn't mean no harm. It is what she was told. And she too was a big woman. And so was the rest of her sisters. She come from a family of 10. And so was my great-grandmother. And so was my mother. Everybody was what we call big boned, big women. Or at least they became big women. And so I'll tell you now, don't subscribe to everything that this, unfortunately, this satanic American so-called westernized civilization tell you all. The strength of your whole being and existence is in you. And your mind does control everything that you have, that you are capable of doing. And you don't know what you can do until you just do it. You don't know. But what you do know, once you learn the power of your mind, and once you get it into that system to where you say, you know what? Even though I ain't never ran a marathon, I'm going to run this marathon. You don't know how, but you're going to run it. It doesn't mean that you have to win it. Race is not given to the swift or to the strongest man, but to he that endures to the end. Who gets the greatest clap in the end of a marathon? The one that looked like he was struggling the most, but still finished that finish line. Came to huffing and puffing. Once again, he pressed himself to the bitter end. Now they give the race to whoever is the fastest, not to he that endures to the end. They give it to whoever is the fastest. Shout out to Shakira and the kind of the so-called the want to be the Flo Jo. See, Flo Jo is from my hometown, East St. Louis. So shout out to girlfriend for being the fastest, but that's opposite of what I was taught. So with that being said, you all have to take your health and wellness, your mental health and wellness, your spiritual health and wellness into your own hands. It's all I'm saying. And so I will ask a few more questions. Beautiful story. You always have me in tears. Your story mirrors mine, but my twins, they CD my twins from me with excuses and pulled the ex-father to the side as well. Yes, that's what they would do. They would try to get to our men because they know our men don't fully understand about the body. And this is why it is important for our men to educate themselves as well. It is no longer safe for a woman to be put in a position, a pregnant woman to be put in a position where she's going into the house pitiful and her husband does not know the protocol of what should be done and what shouldn't be done. However, that would be tension on how strong the mind of your man is, honey. I'm sorry. That would be tension. Hey. So I told him if I ever birthed any other kids, it's on the proper line. Y'all ain't got to worry about it. I'm about liable to be up on top of the mountain pushing out one if that be the case. But I should not ever go back into a house pitiful. Even if it cost me my life. I mean that. Well, so many of us have had babies. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, I know. Thank God you made it out alive. Thank God you didn't have to have that experience. I hope that you and your child is actually okay. We're not going to debate that. We saying, but it doesn't change the fact that it has happened to millions of our melanated women, and they also doing it to their own because they want to depopulate. You all know that by now. Anything to detox from pneumonia, and vaccines. Absolutely, the detox. When we have the chlorophyll, we have the we have the I have $100 on sale for all of your cleanses. Let me get up and get this. You got your colon cleanse. You get 2 packs of these, either for $40, or either you can get this along with the powder sea moss. I forgot to bring my bag down, y'all. And the sea moss can take the purple powder sea moss, a teaspoon, up for 2 weeks straight. It take and supply back the minerals, or either you can get the advanced multivitamin. And I recommend you to get a probiotic and a prebiotic after you go through the detoxification with the colon cleanse. You can also do it with your greens. My apologies, I had that too much in our face, or did I? The chlorophyll drops or green drops are very powerful. You mix it in water. Don't take it by itself, because sometimes it will be the tongue green if you don't. And you take this up to 2 to 3 tablespoons. And sometimes, yes, you do have to lose a little waste in order to allow the body to be able to absorb proper nutrients, because that's another problem that we're having, that I'm noticing more and more as time go by, is that a lot of our people, once they're afraid to detox to a certain degree, and no, you can't detox everything. Pneumonia, it is healthy to have some mucus. Your mucus is what helps everything to slide and glide through, so you cannot ever be completely mucus free, but all that is an excessive amount of mucus build up from you eating mucus forming foods such as white bread, white dough, toxic chicken meat, artificial foods. That's the only way you can get pneumonia. And then when we're talking about vaccination, that will be tinging on your body type and what it is that you're doing on an everyday basis. That is not a quick fix. I have to be honest with you all. It will it usually take to up to close to a year, but that's a good thing, because as you consciously taking care of your body, now that you unknowingly put something in the body that now you know was not good for it, that could eventually cause blood clots. So high alkaline fructations, organic or natural fructations, try to get to the performance markets if you can. Ask them, they will let you know. And then I highly recommend you to take a colon purifier, because the blood clots is what we are now seeing is the most common issue that we're having, that's taking our young people out, and different ones that had those, especially also for our children that's been diagnosed with autism and things of that nature. Still recommend you can put these inside of smoothies. You can, but you must drink it down right away so that it doesn't gel up. Um, and then call in for consultation, because I'm sure that means that there's other side effects that's going on that I may not know about. Dr. Chef, what suggestions do you have for my mom who has cysts on her liver? She she's also been told she may need her gallbladder removed. Detoxification is for sure to cleanse. Let me say cleanse, because detox is most definitely being overused. And what happens during the detoxification stage, which is still similar to the cleanse, is that it's removing out a lot of the nourishment and the nutrients and minerals in the body that the body needs. But at the same time, you still have to cleanse that system, because what's happening is when cysts start to grow, that is inflammation. So I recommend the reduced inflammation herbal abstract still for her, because she can absorb that a lot faster. And then the colon cleanse will help finish it off. Even though she will wind up losing a little bit of weight, she will be able to store it right back on. But once the cysts have subsided, and it usually takes anywhere between 60 to 90 days, depending the size of the cyst. But you do have to get to a point where, and then eliminate any type of not saying that she drink wine, but if she does any type of wine, any type of artificial sugars, any type of chicken meat, any type of foreign meat, any type of yeast, because yeast forms is one of the number one houses of cysts and what we call now fibroids. And I am convinced that they are calling fibroid cysts same thing, pretty much. Um, all of these different terms just to be able to give you different type of medicines. And then gallbladder, the gallbladder, that means that it's highly constipated. That means there's no nourishment that's able to get through it, which is technically means that the liver That means before you can get to the gallbladder, it means that the liver it means that there is some type of constipation within the liver in order for the gallbladder to be affected as well. And so you need to most definitely get a purified cleanser. I will put on it for about 60 to 90 days. That's what my recommendation would be. And then for her to be on light beans like lentil beans, soups, anything that the body can fully digest, and making sure that it is in the very soft forms, light soups for now, just to give it and then smoothies or some type of blended fruit that is high in alkaline that can help break down those cysts as well. That is what I would recommend. Dr. Chef, I heard your message regards to the product being damaged in Motivational Monday. I ordered quite a bit. Are you waiting to send everything all together? Absolutely. Yes, ma'am, for sure. Instead of what you may have. Yes, absolutely, because I still have everything, Sister Jamaica. So yes, absolutely. That's why I was just waiting to hear back from them. And yeah, it is crazy, you all, as you all know, during the Christmas holiday. And I find it mighty strange that sometimes when I don't know, sometimes I think that that's just by design, because by now they know who different ones are. So the blessed part is that now I am closer to the main postal service here. I just found out by a family member that one of my other family members is down there now. That's head over. That now I'm hey, this time I'm gonna have to use them. I'm gonna have to use a little clout to look, make sure my stuff go through, so we're not having no glitches. I've been doing fine, as you all know. Different ones know you've been getting your products up until this Christmas holiday. It came up and gave this 2 week or two setback. So now I'm putting in for between two to 1 to 2 weeks of time frame. But yes, you all should be able to get it in by the end of this month. And if you want to wait for your advanced multivitamin coming, that still would be a 7 to 10 day wait, is what I was told. So let me know either way, Sister Jamaica, if you want to wait, or if you just want to go ahead and send out what we have, since you already have some products, and then we can go from there. Um, it's in your DNA. Hey, Sister Cynthia Brooks. Yes, call my mother Tiny as I. Okay, great. Exactly. Making her healthy veggie soup, Roman, romaine now. Okay, great. Yes, you want to add the lenses. You want to add everything that's healthy for a liver. Um, and blood type is important. I am going to start doing more lives on the blood type for those of you all who know it and that care about it, because that is significant. It is. I haven't stressed it as much beforehand because we had so much going on with this COVID. So my apologies for those of you all. Oh, okay. Here we go. We got some O's in the house. All right, Sister Adira, Yisrael. Yes. Okay. Yes. So there you go. Connection there. So yeah, so my tribe has to be part of O types, just in case something ever come up. I do have to have some O's. You all connected to me, it's not an issue, because like I said, I can give to you all, but at the same time we have to be careful, because now it's more 40 some, like 10% or 20% more from what I've the latest research that I've done, of more of B's now, um, B and AB now. And so it's not as many of us O's left here in America that we know of that is more ancient blood type, the original blood type. And so that is something that we have to consider when you are around your people. And I am, outside of the DNA, I am leaning towards believing that this is one of the reasons why we're having such of a clash when it comes down to husbands and wives wanting to eat healthy and be healthy outside of trauma, outside of the trauma that some of us, most of us have had there, or unresolved issues that have not been dealt with from a therapeutic standpoint. Outside of that, I do believe that this is one of the reasons why, number one reasons why our African Americans, our melanated people can are not being able to be equally yoked, is because of different blood types too. Now that's deeper. We'll talk about that another time, because see, we'll be on here for a long time talking about that. And we're thinking that it's just because of what somebody done wrong, when it's just that you are disconnected DNA wise. Yeah, that's something to think about. That's something to think about. Remember, there used to be a time in order to get a marriage certificate, you had to have the blood taken. You had to have the blood drawn. Why they stopped that? Why did they stop that? I don't know if every state stopped it, but it used to be a time when you had to have those of y'all that's 56 and maybe 60, 70 years old. Y'all remember you used to have to get your blood drawn. Why? And why did they stop? You used to have your blood drawn in order to get a marriage certificate. What I've noticed, now this is just my observation, you all, and I will allow room. I would say this much and then I'm let it go because we've been on for a good bit now. I will allow room for spiritual renewed minds, tons of therapy, but that if you're O blood type, then not, and you're with a non O blood type, then 9 times 10 you are the one that's giving the most, and you are the one that's more universal, more selfless in a relationship. Even if there's children, then your other blood types would be. You're going to be the one that take on the most pressure. Now, in the cases where there's been pollution and taintness, now you may not be able to tell. That's why I said this is the reason why it was so important for me to cleanse. When I learned that over 15 years ago, I did. I started to try to eat, buy it, but excluding the so-called red meat when I found out about the toxicity of the red meat. And so I had to try to get my protein from the seeds and from other things. Because doing it that way, I could tell that the foods that they were recommending me not to have at that time, it did. I felt so much better. I didn't have bloating, cycle problems. I didn't have any of those problems. And anytime I tried to go back on that, then I noticed I would start feeling sicky. So that's why I'm convinced that there is more to it, that is more beneficial to go by it than not, with the exclusion of anything that we know that is toxic now, because you got other foods that you can rely on in the list. You can look that up now, you all, and we can start having conversations about it if you like. But you'll ultimately remember, you are your own doctor. You are the one that will have to go through trying it out for yourself and seeing how beneficial it is for you. For those who know your blood type. Um, Yes, call my mother. Da da da. Oh, great! I'm making her. Da da. Thank you. I would be ordering for your sale. Okay, thank you, sister. I am RHB negative. Anything in particular I need to do / eat? For surely not any chicken. It's a couple of things. There's quite a few things that you're not supposed to be eating. And then I would recommend you, with being an RH with the rare blood type mixed with a B, negative B, I would recommend you to call in for a consultation. That's a long list, sister. That's a long list. And it's a lot that you're not supposed to be taking in your system. But it is things that you can. Okay? Because that's very that's rare. Okay? That's what I want to do. I don't want to give you just a few things and then just leave you hanging with the rest, because that is a lot. I highly recommend you to call in for a consultation as soon as you can and let me know that it's you with the RHB negative blood type, and we can go from there. I pray that that helps you out for now, because I'm about to end now, and that would be a long list. So true. I had to take a blood type before I got married. Absolutely. See, and that matters. For me, I know that me marrying the second time around, if they were still practicing that, that would have mattered to me. That would have mattered to me. To this day, I still don't know what my other what their blood type is. I asked and I could not find out. They didn't know. Yep, I kept making it an issue. And we were different when it came down to how to eat certain things. We were very different. Very different. Yeah. And so if y'all mix that with trauma and not having counsel and all that, 9 out of 10, even if you wind up being able to make it together, you're going to wind up having unnecessary hardship um, when you're dealing with unresolved issues in the past and a whole lot of other things, and then spiritual issues, and then you add on top of it that you all DNA don't even connect, doesn't even connect. That matters, and you may even feel connected to other people and don't even know why. Okay, I'll be calling. Thank you, ma'am. The number that you can reach me by is 618-388-8100. From those of you all that don't know, you can leave it via text. I do see the texts first, just for the record, before I do the voicemail. My son and I are all positive. Okay, cool. Great. Great. So you know what you all need to do. I will be doing another segment on it now that I know that some of you all are interested. And you can pile in questions. I will look at them afterwards once this segment is over. But I do, my time is now up. I have been on y'all for 3 hours. I gave you somebody else gave me a chat. Thank you all so much for the cash app. Whoever just sent it, I appreciate it. Remember, the cash apps goes towards, you can save for donation towards the $10,000 or donation for Najee, Angelique, my daughters that transition for her foundation. I'm building a foundation so that I can be able to help families in the time of need that are on very, very, very low income, that can't truly afford to get certain things for their special needs or developmentally delayed children or young adults in their life. Eventually, I want to expand that out to anyone that's sick that needs it, and for other things and information that they may need that they are not being provided for from their quote unquote doctors. My goal is to get as many families as I can to adopt more of a holistic way of eating, but not having to still at the same time be stressing about the fact that they cannot afford um, it because of their unfixed incomes due to taking care of sick loved ones. You are handicapped in that way as a family if you don't have a strong enough family unit to help out and to support. And even when you do have assistance, the assistants usually are not for full time. You all, they're about to stop some of that. Do you have anything for hair growth? Absolutely. Oh, I'm glad you asked that question before I got off of here. Love. I'm using it. I had to stop myself from using this because ladies, when you get do these braids, I could tell right away how fast this stuff works so fast. And yes, to be healthy internally is very important, but it helps so fast and it cleans so fast that it even purify anything, any mucuses in my, it makes it right. I mean, this is powerful. This love, this Nor love. I sell mine for 35 now. It was at 40, but it's at the 35. I'm not making much profit off of this. Is not my brand, but it's got the cassava and all that good stuff in there. It's so tiny on the back of here. I'm like, yeah, now I have to take a magnifying glass to put it up on there. But for as far as from what I can see, I don't see aloe vera. I don't see the cassava, the Barbados leaf abstract. Um, yeah, that's it. The Algeria Spirinoa abstract is in there. It's not like 4 or 5 different ingredients in this, and I tell you, of natural products in it, and I tell you, it works. I mean, I literally had to stop trying to do every day, else my braids is just gonna grow up, just way too long, and it's it's a light white, what you call. They tell you to damp the hair, but I do it sometimes. I don't. It's just like this little drop, and you just drop it in the scalp, and within 2 days, I'm able to see my hair growth. Within 2 days, it's just not a whole inch yet, but just I mean, it works. My little edges, they were thinning out, y'all. They were because I had pulled on them. Then that little hair grew back so fast. It grew back so fast. You see how that it's a little thin, but it grew back so fast, and then it got thick. Now I could, if I had wanted to, I could tie it up and I could put it up in there. It wasn't there at first. That's why I had to give the hair wraps a break because some of the material wasn't the best of the best of material. So those y'all that wrap your hair, keep that in mind. You still want to oil your hair even when you have even when you have um, um, the silk satin scarves. Because most of us are not using the silk silk satin scarves. We are using cotton and rayon. We're using all different type of scarves when we wrap our hair, and that'll pull out your edges too. And then more importantly, it suffocates the hair follicles and it gets dry. And your hair needs the sun, the vitamin D from the sun and from the food in order to help to be healthy and to grow. And then you can't have hair too tight either. You can't have that. I stressed that when I got my braids in to not to put any don't make them too tight. It was a semi tight, but anyway, when I decided to use this again, I know this was it within 2 days that it had loosened out, it had grown out, and so I highly recommend this. It's called Love Hair Serum, and I have about 8 of them left. I don't have many. They sell out fast. They work. You take them for 30 to 60 days. I think they originally say 90 days, but I seen the difference right away. I sure did. I really. I mean, I think I told y'all already. Even if y'all didn't buy this one, that's what I get. Look. I said, even if y'all didn't buy this one, I said I'll keep this one myself. I'm like, okay, oh well. They're like, nice. It works. It works wonders. But I specifically got it for my edges, so I didn't really get it for the rest of the hair. But that's what it was doing. It was growing out the rest of my hair. So yes. How much? $35, Sister Cynthia. Is for the Love Hair Serum, and I say it's sure enough. It's some love in it. It's the company is called Noor Noor. Some of y'all might have seen it, but by itself, I think it's about the same price by itself. I think it's about 40 plus. You have to pay shipping and handling if you get in it by itself, I believe. But yeah, so I really like it. I never had one that worked that I know it worked that fast. Let me see. So true, I had to take a but okay, here we go, y'all. I'm about to shut it down in 2 more minutes, y'all. Got 2 more minutes. Cynthia, thank you. I will order some. Okay, okay. Okay, yes, and yes, I look forward. Y'all have y'all questions ready. I'm gonna come back strong on this blood type. I think that'll be the next one. Motivational Monday will be. I'm gonna aim for the 1 o'clock. I don't know that I have any other appointments that should stop me from doing it. It will be around about 1 o'clock the same time for Motivational Monday. And if I get any more, the better good news. And I may decide to come back for you guys even beforehand, probably Friday. I have some other events that I have to go to. I make sure live on that from the Facebook page of Felicia and Jordan Facebook page. I make sure I'm sure some being, and I know I have to get back with my Instagram people. A lot of them is missing out, and so, but I'm just not getting everything going. So I'm going to pray us out, you all, and I appreciate everyone that liked and that subscribed. Facebook as well. I'm glad that you guys were able to stay on. I saw a little bit of buffering but not as much. So I'm going to pray us out. Tina's going to pray us out now. Um, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sister Dorothy. All right, Father God, we thank you so much for blessing us to be able to come before you again on this Wellness Wednesday. Thank you for allowing us to be able to congregate with something that's positive, preferably the things that are shared was a help to my brothers and my sisters, to your people. We ask that you protect us in this season, during this time, from all hurt, harm, and danger. Help us to take in the mindset of practicing more wisdom in a healthy, minded way. Help us to take on the spirit of loving one another and being there for one another more than what we ever had before, so that we can unify ourselves to be able to create a union that is good and healthy for our community and for our families. We thank you and we appreciate you. We ask that you cover and heal the bodies of those who's on their health and wellness journeys, the daughters that's concerned about the mothers that's concerned about the children, the fathers that's concerned about their families. Father, we ask you to continue to have mercy and grace on us as we continue on this journey called life. In the name of Jesus and Yeshua HaMashiach, we pray. Amen. All right, you all.